accounts stemming from the Russia probe. This is Fox News.
At Chili's, our burgers stack up with anyone's. Handcrafted to order, smashed to lock in flavor on a toasted brioche bun. Our burgers are all kinds of perfect. Choose from the Chili's Chili, the Mushroom Swiss, the Ultimate Bacon, or you know what? We dare you to take on the Boss Burger. Loaded with smoked brisket, rib meat, jalapeno cheddar sausage, and bacon. We may have really out-burgered ourselves. Our burgers are more than a handful, served with garlic, dill pickles, and fries. So hurry in today and enjoy our juicy, melty, yummy, handcrafted creations. Perfection between two buns. Chili's, more life happens here.
Make the good things last longer. Get 3 more days for free on our 3-day prepaid rate plan. That's 6 days of unlimited local calls, SMS, and 1 gig of 4G LTE data per day for just $7.95. Text HS3 to 3282 from your Docomo Pacific prepaid phone to sign up today. Docomo Pacific. Better together. Some conditions apply.
Day one of the latest teacher strike, this one in Oakland, California, where teachers are fighting for higher pay and smaller class size.
The district superintendent says they agree. Teachers do deserve more and students deserve more resources, but it's about what they can do within their budget. The Oakland Education Association president Keith Brown says stop.
The money is there. The district has focused on funding outside consultants and also central office administrators.
One student on the picket line Thursday morning said class sizes in high school are huge.
And I can see that my teachers are very overworked and some of them have to take second jobs.
Both the teachers and the district are scheduled to resume bargaining Friday morning. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
A fatal accident involving a Hall of Fame basketball coach remains under investigation in New York State. Police say longtime Syracuse coach Jim Boeheim was trying to avoid hitting a disabled vehicle when he struck and killed a man who had just had an accident and was standing along an interstate late last night. In a prepared statement, Boeheim says he is heartbroken. There have been no tickets or charges at this point. Sobriety tests on both the coach and the driver of that other vehicle found no sign of impairment. One state is trying a different kind of crackdown on clergy sex abuse.
California lawmakers introducing a measure that, if passed, would require Catholic priests to report child sex abuse revealed during confession. Priests are currently just one category of professionals required by state law to notify law enforcement about suspected abuse, but unlike teachers and therapists, clergy members have an exception if they learn about the suspected abuse during confession. But there is some pushback. According to the National Catholic Reporter, the seal of confession is considered sacred. Tom Graham, Fox News.
An hour to the close on Wall Street, it's turned into a sell-off. The Dow's now down over 160 points. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Attention homeowners, MRE solar energy systems now come with battery storage for zero money down. This means that your home will have power even when the island power isn't available, like during power outages or during and after storms. The inconvenience of not having power for your home is a thing of the past. It's solar with battery storage exclusively by Micronesia Renewable Energy. Don't be left in the dark. Call 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, the smarter choice.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for our all-new Ultimate Cheesy Garlic Bread. How would you like it?
I'll take a skeptical grandma.
Set in her ways?
A smidge.
Grandma, try this Ultimate Meatball Marinara made with Ultimate Cheesy Garlic Bread. Melted mozzarella, Parmesan, garlic butter spread. It's just like yours.
Like mine? My grandmother's recipe?
Try it.
You know, my grandmother's cheesy garlic bread was never all that.
Subway, make it what you want. Limited time only at participating restaurants.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 6 a.m. this Friday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The National Weather Service continues to track Typhoon Wutip on a path that'll take it just south and west of the island about 3 a.m. Sunday morning. at a distance of about 125 miles at its closest point of approach. As of 4 a.m. this morning, the center of Typhoon Wutip was located near latitude 7.7 degrees north, longitude 148.1 degrees east. It was moving west-northwest at 8 miles an hour. It's expected to make a slight turn towards the northwest with an increase in forward speed over the next 24 hours. Maximum sustained winds remain at 100 miles per hour. Wutip is forecast to intensify throughout today. Typhoon force winds above 74 miles an hour extend outward from the center up to 35 miles. Tropical storm force winds in excess of 39 miles per hour extend outward from the center up to 150 miles. In order to allow enough time for everyone to make preparations for the approaching storm, Acting Governor Josh Tenorio has ordered non-emergency GovGuam services to end at 1 p.m. today. Public schools, however, will open this morning as scheduled, but they will begin closing at 11 a.m. this morning. All public school students will be released by 1 p.m. this afternoon. The Archdiocese of Agana, however, confirms that Catholic schools will hold classes today and operate a normal class schedule until condition of readiness 2 is declared. Acting Governor Tenorio said he intends to place Guam under Core 2 no later than 4 p.m. this afternoon. The governor said that we want to give students, parents, and GovGuam employees enough time to go home and make any last-minute preparations, as well as time to prepare some of the schools to reopen as emergency shelters. At a heavy weather briefing yesterday, National Weather Service Warning Coordination meteorologist Chip Gard said he expects Wutip will track to the west of Guam. He said we're going to be on the edge of the winds. The onset of damaging winds of 39 miles per hour or more expected about 3 a.m. Saturday morning. Sustained gusty winds between 35 and 45 miles an hour are expected over the island throughout Saturday. Those winds and some rain could last through Sunday evening. Gard said he does not expect Wutip will be a serious threat, but he cautioned that Wutip may become a Category 3 storm when it passes to the west with sustained winds of 120 miles an hour. Any change in the track that brings it closer to Guam could cause serious damage. Ray and Mike will have a more detailed look at the storm after this newscast. Singio Singenes and Inocencia Esiroman have entered guilty pleas in a major food stamp fraud case in district court. The pair admitted to the unauthorized use of food stamp benefits, and federal prosecutors agreed to dismiss 7 other counts of wire fraud against them. The pair face a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison and $250,000 fine. Neither Singenes nor Esirom are U.S. citizens, and a conviction in the case exposes them to deportation. The couple owned and operated the S&I Mart, a small convenience store in Barragata. They admitted to creating fictional food stamp transactions between March 2011 and September 2013 by allowing SNAP recipients to fraudulently get a cash out of their food stamp benefits. We'll have more news after this.
On March 9th, join Bank of Guam for the EFIT Run and Block Party to benefit Guam Cancer Care and American Cancer Society. Our Sunset 2K and 5K run will start at Chamorro Village with showtime at 4 and go time at 5. And don't forget about our block party starting at 4 o'clock, complete with food trucks, a kids zone, live entertainment, and a beer garden, so don't forget your ID. This is a bring your own water bottle event. The EFIT Run and Block Party, Saturday, March 9th. Bank of Guam, member FDIC.
Guam Regional Medical City. We bring the healthcare advances of the world directly to you. We are an acute care hospital that complements your needs with our robust outpatient specialty clinics. From preventative care to critical care, we strive for consistent excellence at GRMC. Our core philosophy is where patients are partners, which means we work as a team to make a healthier version of you. For more information about GRMC, visit us at grmc.gu.
11 minutes past 6 a.m. here at The Point. A Mauricio resident is the latest person to accuse former Archbishop Anthony Apparon of sexual molestation and abuse. The complaint was filed in Superior Court by a man using the initials CCC to protect his identity. He accused Apparon and the Capuchin Franciscans of sexual abuse back in 1985 at the San Dimas Church in Moleso when he was just 16 years old. The lawsuit seeks $5 million in damages. Attorney Tom Fisher has filed a writ of mandate in Superior Court seeking an order to force the Guam Police Department to provide him with copies of the department's operating procedures, policies related to the possession, use, and holstering of firearms. Fisher is the attorney representing former Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio. He is seeking the documents in order to prepare for Tenorio's trial on misdemeanor charges, which begins in March. Fisher filed the writ after Police Chief Steve Ignacio refused to release them, saying it would compromise GPD's investigative techniques and threaten the safety of police officers. Tenorio is facing misdemeanor charges of reckless conduct and obstructing government functions in connection with a gun-grabbing incident at a block party in Tumon last July. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with weather.
It's 6:12 in the morning. Thanks very much. And as we have done just about every single day this week, before Ray and Mike get a chance to take a look at satellite imagery and things like that, we go to the other Mike at the National Weather Service. Mike Ziabro, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Well, it seemed like we've been getting together an awful lot this week, and it all has to do with this tropical storm, now Typhoon Wutip, right?
Yes, that's it.
When did it graduate to a typhoon?
Yesterday.
And can you tell me a little bit more about what it is doing right now and what we can expect over the next 24, 36 hours?
Well, right now it's, at 4 o'clock, it was at 460 miles southeast of Guam, and the winds are up to 100 miles an hour in the center. It's moving west-northwest at about 8 miles an hour. It's slowed down a little bit. Right now we're just looking for breezy conditions, of course. Guam today, that's like around 20 to 30 miles an hour. But then it'll start picking up a little bit tonight. But then by, after sunrise tomorrow, that's when we're expecting, tropical storm force winds possible, like, 30 to 40 with maybe some higher gusts. And that'll persist all the way through Saturday night and into Sunday. Then it starts to tone down by Sunday night.
What's the expectation of the highest kinds of winds that we are going to see based on the current track?
Like 30 to 40 miles an hour, maybe some gusts in the heavier showers up to 60 miles an hour.
Now, is it going to be a particularly rainy storm? There's been a little bit more discussion about the amount of rain that we might get associated with this.
There are some rain bands to the central pass to our west, so there are some rain bands to the east. So it'll be on and off showers here, and we're looking at, some models show like around 4 to 6 inches, and then one shows up to 10 inches possible. So there could be periods of heavy rain, yes.
That are going to be associated with the storm. Mike, I appreciate your time. Now, I did notice that when I was looking at the track this morning, Guam seems to be a little bit more inside that radius of tropical storm strength wind. Does that indicate that it is going to be a little bit closer in terms of a CPA?
Yeah, the CPA right now, because I think earlier we were looking at something like closer to 150, 180. Now it's closer to 130.
Right, but still, the higher winds are associated with the concentrated center of the storm, not necessarily that far out.
Yeah, because we're still further away from 50-knot wind area, and then the typhoon winds won't get over us.
All right. Well,
that's the current projection.
Mike Ziabro from the National Weather Service. Kevin?
Mike, CPA, 3 a.m. Sunday morning. Is that correct now? Earlier they said it was midnight.
Yeah, it's around midnight to 3 a.m. It's one of those ones because it's sliding in a way that it's like, it's curving as it's passing us. So it's not like one particular time where it's just there and then it's moving on. It's like a little curvature thing where it's like in the same general distance from us for a couple of hours. So, yeah, between like midnight and 3 a.m. or something like that.
I like that term, sliding in. Mike Ziabro from the National Weather Service. Appreciate your time, and if we need you, we'll call you back.
Sure, we'll be here.
I know you will. 6:16 in the morning. And there he is from the National Weather Service, the latest look, at least from his perspective, on what is going on. Now, the near-term forecast, we'll start with a couple of alerts here. High surf advisory in effect until 6 o'clock Wednesday. High risk of rip currents through Wednesday afternoon. We are in a tropical storm watch and flash flood watch in effect this afternoon through late Sunday night. As I said, there might be a little bit more rain associated with this particular storm. We'll start with the weather radar so I can tell you what the conditions are going to be like near-term. Mike?
On the bulletin you have there, I had to cut out a lot of it because it was really long. They said specifically folks down in the south, those that are in flood-prone areas such as Maritza, they really need to make sure their preparations are finalized today and get everything up off the flooding areas and be prepared for a pretty good deal of flooding with the rains coming in.
Don't see any rains coming in right now?
Yeah, well, they don't see anything because you didn't put it on the screen. But, yeah.
Click.
Nice.
Hold on.
It'll get there. There we go. Actually, we're starting to see some of the outermost rain bands of the typhoon kind of sliding on down to the southeast there. We're kind of in that transition phase between the drier air to the north and this moist air with the typhoon coming on in. This will continue. It will continue throughout the day today, and it will also continue to ramp up slowly as we go on through the next couple of days. So that's what we can expect there. Taking a look at satellite. And we can see the angry blob of hate that is Typhoon Wutip down to our southeast. And it's starting to encounter some pretty good wind shear. And this is a thing that I typed in earlier. I'm actually bearish on this system being very strong when it passes us.
Yeah.
It's going into some unfavorable wind shear. The waters are actually much cooler ahead of it on the track. And these are things that just kind of choke the life out of these tropical systems. And so we're going to have to defer to the official sources, as always, prepare for the weather that they've expected. I, myself, personally, am a little bearish on this one, and I think it's not going to be that big a deal as it slides on past. What Mike was describing is as the storm does go past us, we're going to be kind of like the apex of the pinwheel as it swings on around.
Right.
So it's not going to gain much distance away from us for several hours as it pinwheels on around us from the southeast up to the north and starts heading north and then going up towards the northern part of the Mariana Islands. So that's why we have an uncertain CPA time to speak of and an uncertain distance as well, because as it makes that little pinwheel pass, they will wobble. So it could get within 130 miles, 150 miles, 170 miles. It just depends on where it's coming in and how the steering currents take it on past.
All right, there's a whole lot more to this. Damaging winds, scattered showers, turning to frequent heavy showers the afternoon through Sunday. Northeast winds 20 to 30 miles an hour, becoming easterly 35 to 45 miles an hour tomorrow. Slowly shifting to the south and southwest through Sunday. Highs around 85 degrees, and overnight lows are expected to be about 77 degrees. Sunset tonight will be at 6:28. Sunrise tomorrow morning at 6:41. Sunrise this morning at about 6:41. So there we've got the all of the information that you need that is about the storm itself, but there's a whole lot more by way of weather coverage and news, and we will get around to doing that here in just a few moments. It's 6:19. That's news and weather together, brought to you by Bank Pacific. Where others put branches, they place roots.
Experience the Take Care difference. Take Care members can count on accessing a high-quality, credentialed network of on-island providers, including the convenient one-stop FHP Health Center and Urgent Care, access to an extensive off-island network of providers, and the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs. You can count on Take Care to deliver comprehensive, accredited insurance coverage and quality health care when and where you need it. Take Care. Our island, your health plan. Learn more at takecareasia.com.
There's a crazy menu waiting for you at King's. Did you hear me? I said it was a crazy menu. Thank you very much. They got all kinds of stuff there. Incredible breakfast items, including they had this during the Christmas holidays, and I think they decided we're just going to keep this thing forever and ever because kids absolutely love it. Fruity Pebbles pancakes. Doesn't that sound like a great way to do a morning like this morning? You know, I got a feeling there's going to be a lot of parents that are looking at the schedule going, wait a second, they're going to be releasing the kids early today. You know, maybe we'll just hang out together, huh? Mom and Dad and the kids going to hang out in the day before for a storm. Maybe start off with a breakfast today at King's.
Great news from Exchanged, Guam's #1 online and mobile remittance service to the Philippines. Get a chance to win a trip for 2 to Manila with 3 days and 2 nights accommodations at the Belmont Hotel at Resorts World Manila. Here's how to join. Download the Exchanged app or visit exchanged.me. Sign up and send money to the Philippines. You can also visit the Exchanged office inside the iConnect building in Upper Tumon. Promo ends May 2nd, 2019. Call 888-736-3 for more information. Conditions apply. Take advantage of Exchanged Exchange dollar to remit promo. Visit exchange.me for details. The Condition 3 version of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all of your specialty care needs. American President Lines, APL, is shipping the future and Micronesia renewable energy. You know, there's never been a better time to go solar.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Shall we? Hey, everybody, it is the Ray Gibson Show, and yeah, this is the Core 3 version of the Ray Gibson Show, and we've returned to a unique feature of our broadcast here this morning. Is a capability of putting actual news and information on the screen. So if I'm not saying anything about the weather and you're curious about what it's going to be doing, there is a slow-speed crawl down around the bottom of it. It's a twister. It's a twister. We don't actually get twisters around here, but that is what it sounds like now down in some of the outer islands where the storm is actually making its way through. There are some places on the map that you and I know and words that we can't pronounce that are in play on it right about now. 6:23 in the morning. Let me take care of this, and then we'll get to some other stuff. We're expecting a telephone communication with Governor Lou Leon Guerrero. She's out of town, but she's obviously concerned about what's going on here. So we'll hear from her in just a little bit. But first, say good morning.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name.
Lots and lots of people on Facebook Live this morning, and Mike and Kevin, I think that's testimony. This is where people know that they're going to get the absolute latest, and they're going to get a good look at what's happening with the news and the big stories. And the big story of the day today is obviously the weather. Ismail is online, waiting for us to say some incredible weathery kind of things. There's Lady D, Judy Shockley, nice to see you, and thanks for the good morning wish. Bob Ellsworth, John St. Nicholas says good Friday morning, all hunker down, stay dry. Juanita Machi in her wave, Nick Perlaski. Hoik, another wave from Mark Cruz and Randy Kruger. Debbie Picklesheimer says, morning, wonderful people. It's true, isn't it? We are wonderful. There's Rico Blancaflor, Debbie Picklesheimer. Here we go again. Yeah, but we're, like I said, we're old Pacific hands around here. We know what's up. There's Sunny Jean, Kanani Inn. Nice to see you. Lynn Vince Borja Polino, Lillian Cruz, Landon Nadler. Sorry, like I don't know his name. Tony, Annette, and Pinko add Kenley and Guerrero, and he's already spouting off something about Guam YTK and the money for nothing deal, but we'll save that for a little bit later on in the broadcast. Bob O'Mallon, hey, cuz, nice to see you there. James Howard, good morning. Josh Camacho, what's the update on the storm? We'll give you continuous updates on the storm, but as I said, if you're watching on Facebook Live,
there's a storm?
Yeah, what? Weather? Outside? Are you kidding?
He
Looks
just
nice.
woke up.
There's a slow speed crawl in the bottom of your Facebook Live, so you should be able to see what's going on there. Ray Sablon and Commissioner Roy Gamboa, Keith Dixon. Good morning to former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez. I might see if I can get that story from KUAM. Chris Barnett did an interview with Carl, who's doing very good in this administration. I see Bert Duarte, Tommy Barcinas, Tammy Godwin, Greg Karabrock. Bert Duarte says, I see colors in the sky. It's going to be a good day, I think. Let me check with my meteorologist. What do you think, Mike? What does all the colors in the sky mean today?
I haven't seen any colors. It was dark last time I was outside.
Where the heck are you? It's 6:25. Sun won't be up for another 20 minutes or something like that.
You know, when the sun passes through all the clouds and moisture, it breaks down into its color components, and so you get all sorts of wonderful mixes of colors.
You know, Bert's a photographer, so it's possible that he is seeing things in a different chroma level. It's just a different spectrum there. I see Francis Salas and Houston, Texas, where Tammy Godwin's watching the program. Derek Munya Kanata He's funny. The other day, he's walking out of Auto Spot about I don't know, 6 o'clock on Wednesday night. And sees me walking in and sees Senator Amanda Shelton and her staff walking in, and he's got this look like, oh, what the heck is going on here? And I guess he forgot they had that the Toastmaster thing going on, and he says, wow, we got a high-powered crew coming in, Gibson and Amanda Shelton. How about that? Freddie Stevens there, Roland Torres, Mo Cotton is on. We can start. Heather Perez and Sylvan Tudela, Rose and Bill Murphy, good to see you there, Sarge. Red Sky in the morning, Sailor's Warning, Red Skies at night, Sailor's Delight. Roland, I've asked sailors about that. I've asked some old hand sailors about that, and they don't know what the hell that means. I don't know. It's different things, different times. I don't know whether that has any bearing at all on the weather.
Well, when you're sailing, generally you're in the trade wind areas, okay, like we are here. So a red sky in the morning means there is a storm to the east, and it's coming your direction. So red sky in the morning.
Sailor, take a warning.
Take a warning. If it's red sky at night at sunset, that means the storm is past you.
On the other side.
It's moving away.
Gabby LG's online. I see Ismail. So just the tip. Wutip's tip will hit us. I don't think anything is going to hit us. Charlene Marchessault is there, and Jane Sasai with her pretty eyes. Did I already say Anita Muftis is on with her Valentine's eyes? Janet Chimpako, Jerome Kinat, Carl Fukuda, and he's got some weird dancing icons going on. Joe Dizon, and... no, James Howard says it's UFOs. Maybe, that's what it is. So 6:27 in the morning, 888-8255-888-TALK. We're going to see if we can keep things open here for the governor of Guam, who's off island right now. Is going to be calling in a couple of minutes and let me know what's happening. Now, I do need to let you know what's going to be happening with the schools, because I've read these things 2 or 3 times, and it's confusing unless you've got it in front of you. So if you have children in school, grandkids, whatever, here's what you need to know. The Archdiocese of Agana confirms that Catholic schools will hold classes today while the island remains in Core 3. In most cases, Catholic schools will operate with their regular dismissal times until Core 2 is signaled. In the event of Core 2, kids will be sent home. If bus transportation is not available at that time, parents and guardians are advised to ensure transportation home for their child or children. Note the following exceptions. That's Mercy Heights Preschool and Kinder. They release their kids at noon, just like their public school counterparts. All parents and guardians of Catholic school students have the discretion to have their kids attend classes or not attend today, especially with the possibility of not having full bus service today. What that sounds like is kind of an amnesty here. It makes that noise like sister won't hold it against your kids if you don't have them in school today because you're worried you might have to go pick them up or go haul them in the middle of the day because there's no buses. I don't think it's going to count against them in the great logbook of Jesus in the Catholic schools. Now, all of the other schools here, and that's just the Catholic schools. There's a variety of other schools that have not yet sent press releases. I'm looking for those. If you are one of those schools and I'm not on your press release list, please put it on. The easy way to do it is send it to me on a WhatsApp, 988-5874, or send it to raygibsonshow@gmail.com. For the Department of Education, they've got early release times already. The following schools will be released at 11 o'clock. Listen carefully. At 11 o'clock, Southern High School, Teedson High School, JFK, and J.P. Torres Success Academy will be released at 11. At 11:30, George Washington, Ukadu High School, and Simon Sanchez High School will be released. All GDOE elementary schools and Head Start will be released at noon. And by 12:45, all GDOE middle schools will be released. GDOE Aspire and GDOE after-school sports programs scheduled for this afternoon are canceled. Sports programs scheduled for Saturday are also canceled. GDOE parents are asked to begin picking up their students at the specified release time. Busing services will be provided to transport students home. Dodea schools will remain open for normal hours of operation today. All other school notifications that we're aware of. iLearn Academy Charter School releasing students at 11:30 today. SIFA Learning Academy will dismiss students at noon, and St. Paul Christian School will release their students at noon today. There's other information available. We'll pass that along to you. If you are not sure what's going on, just keep an ear on the radio. When we get the information, be happy to pass it along to you. There might be some other civic events and things like that that are being pushed off over the weekend and postponed. I was supposed to help out a friend of mine at GCC with their summit tonight. Got an email from the boss, said, no, we're going to push that off until the 1st and the 2nd of March. So looks like I get to make some new arrangements and new plans on my night. Now I do need to share this with you for a couple of reasons. Number one, because it might be the funniest thing that we have seen. Now, there are a variety of people that have got opinions about where this what's going to be happening.
That's Frankie
with this storm here. And we got Mike and Landon from the National Weather Service. I got my Mike here at the radio station, and there's all kinds of other people. As they say, old Pacific Kansas. Say, I got a pain in my sciatica, which means it's coming, but it's not going to hit us. If it was on the other side with the lumbago and it made my gout go away, then it would be a direct hit or something like that. But there's this that has been floating around in social media, and I just think it is one of the more hilarious things that I might get to play for you. You talk about and anybody that knows this about Guam weather knows there's a certain amount of crazy that you get with some weathercasters and forecast men and women. But this guy here might take the cake for weird weather guys. Watch carefully.
This is Frankie McDonald, my own TV station live in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Typhoon Wutip is headed towards Guam on Saturday, February 23rd, 2019. It's going to bring up to 50+ millimeters of rain. Winds are going to be very strong with thunderstorms. It's going to bring a lot of rain, especially in Aganana, Guam. It's going to bring a lot of rain that can cause big waves crashing on beaches and shores in Guam. It's going to bring a lot of wind-driven rain, sideways rain in Guam, especially in Aganana, Guam. In the surrounding areas, it's going to bring a lot of rain that can damage buildings and bring down power lines and sap tree branches that can knock off power in Guam. It's going to, since the waters are very warm, the wind shear is very low, that's going to strengthen the typhoon. It's going to aim towards Guam on Saturday, February 23rd, 2019. It's going to bring a lot of rain. Winds are going to be very strong. It's going to cause wind-driven rain, sideways rain. It's going to cause mudslides, landslides, and flooding in Guam. People in Guam, be prepared. Hey, if your rubber tank rain, ready when it goes outside, wear your rubber tank raincoat to keep you dry.
What?
Make sure to order your pizzas and order your Chinese food, buy cases, especially buy cases of Coke. Make sure if your Samsung Galaxy shirts, Samsung Galaxy smartphone shirts, Samsung Galaxy tablet shirts, smartphone, cell phones, laptops, and tablet shirts, and head for 3G, 4G, internet ready. Make sure to stay away from beaches and don't go near the shores. Make sure if your emergency kits, medical kits, flashlights, candles, extra batteries, crank up radio generators, battery operated lanterns, and bottled water ready as well.
Yep, that's Frankie.
When a typhoon gets really bad, stay indoors. Don't go outside. If everybody living in Guam, be prepared for typhoon will tip on Saturday, February 23rd, 2019. Take care, stay safe. Don't get caught in the typhoon. Stay dry and be safe.
I love that. Thanks for helping out. But is he a known commodity in the meteorological
Absolutely.
business?
No, that's Frankie. No, we all know
Really?
Frankie. Yeah.
From Nova Scotia?
Frankie from Nova Scotia?
Frank, I think he's visiting Nova Scotia. He actually lives somewhere in the U.S., but it's up in the north. I think he's in the heartland up there in Ohio or something.
That's crazy.
And yeah, he's on to every single storm. The definitive source of storm information.
But he was saying things opposite to what I've heard you say, and he was talking about the water's warm and there's no shear. You've been saying the water's cold and there is shear.
Yeah, well, frankly, half of what he said we couldn't understand, Ray. So,
But that was the part that was seeping in. Yeah. I get this from Al Mendoza. He says, my second grade daughter turned down the radio and did her best Ray Gibson imitation and said, no school today. I used to try to do that when I was in the second and the third grade. When are we going to get another one of these storm days? I don't think it's going to be happening today. Karina Ludwig is on. Andy Tydinko. Pam Duvall, nice to see you. Pam, I did get the WhatsApp that you sent, and I'll see if I can do some riffing on that. Katie Baltazar says, good morning, Ray, Mike, and Kevin. Daryl Taggart says, good morning from the 5th floor of GRMC. It's a beautiful morning, Daryl. Need more splains. What are you doing up there? Everything okay? Darlene Bloss is on, and Evelyn Z. Campus is playing around. Evelyn took some pictures of the ladies from the Guam Women's Club with my my Pixel yesterday that I got from GTA, and they absolutely love those shots. What you got?
Yeah, I'm talking about the wind shear and the water temperatures. I actually did send a couple of graphics to the Points WhatsApp. If we want to cover that, I can show you why I think what I think. And it's not just because I have an opinion. There's actual empirical data to support it.
Can I just play the Frankie thing again?
Sure.
I just want to play the Frankie thing again. It's 6:35 in the morning. And we got to stop down for some headlines here from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, the Leon Guerrero administration issued a brief statement yesterday in support of Rory Respicio, the embattled general manager of the Port Authority of Guam. Respicio first came under fire from some members of his board for launching a mediation effort without prior approval from the Port Authority Board, followed by calls for his resignation after that mediation effort was revealed to be more extensive than he previously acknowledged. The administration continues to have confidence in Port Authority General Manager Rory Respicio, states the response issued yesterday by Governor's Communications Director Janela Carrera. We trust that the Port General Manager, the hardworking employees at the port, and the Port Authority Board of Directors will continue to work together, strengthening our port operations, according to the statement. Daphne Shimizu, acting director of the Department of Rev and Tax, told senators yesterday that her goal is to increase overall collections for GovGuam's general fund. She said our team is ready to take this head on during her confirmation hearing before the Legislative Committee on Environment, Revenue, and Taxation. In the month and a half since her appointment, Shimizu said her team has been laying the foundation to increase tax collections, and they've reached out to the IRS to provide assistance with tax collection training. In the meantime, she said efforts are underway to leverage the department's in-house technical expertise and have senior members conduct the training. 41-year-old Bruce Pascal Chafaros has been charged with drug possession, terrorizing, and family violence after he crashed his Nissan Xterra into the retaining wall in front of the Barragata fire station last Saturday. Chafaros fled the scene after the crash, but the woman in the passenger seat told police when they arrived that the crash occurred when Chafaros began hitting her in the face while trying to make a U-turn in front of the fire station. She said she was trying to end her relationship with Chafaros when the accident occurred. The woman had multiple bruises on her arm and face, and she complained of pain in her left ear. Chafaros was eventually found and arrested. He's been charged with possession of Schedule II controlled substance and family violence. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
6:38 is iConnect time. Run by iConnect and learn about the great plans they've got for 2019. Internet, push-to-talk, and mobile plans at iConnect. We'd normally jump into a break and do some traffic right about now, but as I said, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero is standing by. Good morning, Governor Lou. Welcome to the program.
Hi. Hi, Ray. Good morning.
Well, good morning to you. How's the weather where you are?
It's freezing.
You know what? Storm and all. I think I'd rather be here than locked into the cold. A message for the people of Guam from Governor Lou Leon Guerrero as we are facing down Typhoon Wutip.
Yes, I just wanted to assure the people of Guam that they are in good hands with Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio and, of course, my Homeland Security Advisor, Tim Uggan. I've been in close communications with them, and I really believe that they have looked at every aspect of preparedness for our people, shelters, the schools, even keeping northern and regional health centers open for people that might need oxygen.
Good.
And so I am very confident. You know, my Lieutenant Governor Josh has gone through something like this when he was also in administration, and so I think he's well prepared to deal with the issues there. So I'm very confident of his work, and also very appreciative of all the cabinet members who have come forward and are working as a team to keep our people safe, secure, and have a peace of mind in weathering the the storm that's coming. I'm just really sorry I'm not there to be part of it, but like I said, I'm very confident with the cabinet members and under the leadership of Acting Governor Josh Tenorio.
Well, more to that point, I had Jenna on the phone from Homeland Security and Civil Defense and the Joint Information Center yesterday, and it sounded like they had everything pretty much nailed down in terms of the hardening of the systems, GWA, GPA, and the guys going out there to do what they can to prevent any of the lines coming down as a result of the trees leaning against them.
Yeah, the other one that we've also been working with is the Department of Public Works, where I understand Acting Governor Josh had asked them to be out there in the southern area to try and clean as much debris and so forth as a result of the storm, so that we can at least mitigate some of the flooding there.
Yep.
I also wanted to thank the military for working hand in hand and in cooperation with Josh, because I think we need to make sure we're all saying the same things in terms of preparedness. And I know that General Boswell has been working very closely with him, and I do appreciate that, and totally I'm grateful for that.
Well, there's, we got the Cope North exercise that's happening here. I've been watching all kinds of planes from all kinds of places come in. Watched one land from Japan yesterday. So I'm wondering how this storm is impacting this exercise that they're doing. I'll see if I can find out from a couple of people what's going on. Speaking of the military, we're all kind of concerned about the declaration of the national emergency and the possible impact that it's going to have on build-up projects for Guam. Are you talking to anybody in D.C. about that today?
Where I'm not in D.C. right now. I am on my way to D.C., and yes, I will be bringing that up as it impacts the DOD budget. But also be very mindful that, a lot of the monies that are coming in for the military buildup is also coming from Japan. And I think the military buildup will continue on as planned, but I know that the DOD will probably also be arguing hard for not to have the money taken away from the military buildup. Those are budgeted monies that are already been approved.
Right.
And I know that 16 states throughout the United States have, I guess, issued a lawsuit or taking the president to court concerning this emergency declaration. So although there hasn't really been anything real definite other than the announcement, I think I'll just look and see how that goes. And of course, if I have the opportunity from an administrative site, I think I will, of course, also bring it up that we are not supportive of that, as it will diminish the financial resources for the military in this buildup. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's other topics that along similar lines that you've got to talk to people about. Homeland Security needs to hear from us about the ban on H-2B visas coming from the Philippines and EITC reimbursement. I think it's a great idea asking for the Treasury to reimburse us for the additional EITC spend, specifically when it comes to all of the residents as well as compact migrants.
Yes, I have confirmed meetings with the U.S. Treasury, with the Department of Interior, with the Deputy Secretary for Homeland Security, which is the second in ranking next to Secretary of State Kristen Nielsen. And we got invited to a dinner hosted by President Trump. So I'm going to go to the dinner, and of course, if I see Secretary Nielsen, I'll also talk to her about it, as I had already mentioned it when I was there in December. So I just wanted to know what update she has done. And then, if it's a social event, I'm going to try and see whatever opportunity I have to just say hello to President Trump and remind him about my EITC that he said he would pay in our meeting. So,
well, fingers crossed. Maybe if you wear, do you have a MAGA hat? If you have a Make America Great hat, wear it, and you'll get his attention.
No, I gave him a tap at the last meeting saying make Guam great again. So
That's right. That's right. There was.
you know me, Ray. I'm going to go with there and smile and argue and be firm about what I think we need for Guam, and offer some discussion about benefiting both the federal government and the people of Guam.
Well, don't forget to get with the other governors from the territories and lay in on somebody about the cockfighting ban, and maybe holding off on that on Guam because of it's cultural preservation and the indignation of this law being forced down our throat without even our concurrence.
Right. Of course. And I'm going to check with Puerto Rico, and I think the U.S., the Virgin Islands might be more into the cockfighting issue, and Puerto Rico also. But I also wanted to say that we're going to be meeting with the National Security Council, and that would be also a place where we can present our concerns with the H-2 worker. And I'm going to really ask to be waived from the banning of the Philippines country, and also to give us a lot of breathing room and boost out the ban for H-2 workers.
Is the president, do you know if the president is going to be heading to Vietnam? I thought we heard something like that in the Fox News yesterday, that Trump was going to be heading to Vietnam. Any chance you might be able to get him to, extend an invitation from yourself and Josh?
Yes. Yes, I will. I will definitely extend the invitation to stop by Guam and come spend the night at the government house.
I'll bet he'd love that. Listen, Governor Lou, I don't want to keep you. I know that you've got a plane to catch, and I don't want you to miss it because there's a lot of stuff that you got to take care of heading into Washington, D.C. Safe flight, and maybe give us a ring when you land. Let us know what's going on, and we'll let you know what's going on.
I will. Thanks, Ray, for the opportunity, and I just wanted to say that I'm sorry I'm not there with our people. I'm thinking about them. I'm praying for their safety, and I think they are in good hands with Acting Governor Josh Tenorio and our Homeland Security Advisor, Tim Uggan.
Well, don't worry about it. Between Tim and Josh and I, we'll watch the store for you until you get back.
Thank you. I feel great about that.
6:48 in the morning. Governor Lulian Guerrero on the line, just at the tarmac, waiting to get on the airplane. I think waiting for them to close the door to the airplane so that she can take off and get to wherever it is that she's got to go. Actually, I've already done iConnect time. 6:48. If you want to do it again, we'll return with the Ray Gibson Show in just a moment.
It's Micronesia Mall's 30th anniversary, and to celebrate, we are giving away a new Kia Soul LX, a Mazda 3i Sport, the popular Honda Civic LX, and 30 Manila Flyaways during our 30th anniversary Drive-Away Flyaway. Win 3 great cars from Triple J Auto Group, 30 Flyaways from Philippine Airlines, plus thousands of prizes from Burger King and Foot Locker when you play Micronesia Mall's 30th anniversary Drive-Away Flyaway.
If your world is full of the same old, lame old, same old, lame old, I like the way they put these words together for me. It's 6:48 in the morning. Hit reset, because Wendy's went and made a whole new world with a new made-to-crave menu featuring peppercorn mushroom melt, the barbecue cheeseburger, and the sauce and bacon cheeseburger with so much bacon it actually falls out. Like you get other stuff, the taco just falls over the plate. Mine the other day had bacon. It was just falling out of the deal. Look, it's your world now, and Wendy's just rocked it. Try the new hamburgers on the made-to-crave menu today.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Mark Beneventi of Santa Rita, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voice of our community and sharing thoughts and issues that affect us all. It all boils down to our people, our land. Protei Igumamo. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
And that's what we're trying to tell people today. The theme for today's program is prepare, prepare, prepare. Brace yourselves
You know, we're going to do everything that we can here at the radio station to keep you as up to date as possible as you know, as we make it through today. But then there is also the tomorrow, which is not normally a working day, but we'll see if we can get up on some mechanism to be able to provide coverage to you on a regular basis on this radio station and the other stations of choice broadcasting. Looking at the traffic gizmo right now, don't see anything happening. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot of traffic laying into Anderson Air Force Base or Navy Hospital or Big Navy right now. Traffic up and down Route 4 looking clear. Up and down Route 8 looking clear. Might be a little bit of a slowdown at the intersection of 810 and 16, and maybe a tiny little blurb of people trying to get through 4 onto Route 10 this morning, but I don't see anything major that's going to be slowing you down at this time. 10 away from 7 o'clock in the morning. That's right now traffic here on The Point.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for our all-new Ultimate Cheesy Garlic Bread. How would you like it?
I'll take a skeptical grandma.
Set in her ways?
A smidge.
Grandma, try this ultimate meatball marinara made with ultimate cheesy garlic bread. Melted mozzarella, parmesan, garlic butter spread. It's just like yours.
Like mine? My grandmother's recipe?
Try it.
You know, my grandmother's cheesy garlic bread was never all that.
Subway, make it what you want. Limited time only at participating restaurants.
The Coconut Wireless is back. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
John says, I can't prepare for the storm. I got to get ready for work. I know what you mean, and we'll figure out when Core 2 is going to be happening and when they're going to establish all of that. Right now, we continue to be in Core 3. So, yeah, prep, and if there's supposed to be work today, then get out and go and actually do work like we're trying to get done here at the radio station. Now I'm not a meteorologist. I don't even want to try to pretend to be one on the radio, but every once in a while, I'll take a look at some of the graphics that get tossed around in some of the meteorological websites and just scratch my head at it. And what you're watching on Facebook Live is a pretty good indication of one of those graphics that shows what. And I think this is water conditions, right?
This is the wind shear.
Oh, this is the wind shear.
This is the wind shear graphic.
I mean, I could have been anything.
That's all right. I can explain it very quickly to you. Down at the bottom, you can see some words that talk about the colors of those bold lines, those bold red, yellow, and green lines.
Correct.
This is in terms of tropical development or maintenance, and it's really in looking at it from a vantage point of a system. So in other words, the green lines are favorable areas for tropical development or maintenance. Yellow is marginal to neutral. Red is not favorable at all. You can see down here the blob. The blob's down to the southeast of Guam, and you can see the Marianas right there, kind of in the middle to the right, and then the blob down there. It's located to the southwest of that. Yeah. That's a favorable area of wind shear, but the storm's not under that. The storm is now going under the yellow and red parts, which means wind shear is increasing over the system as it continues to track on its course. And wind shear, not a good thing. The tan lines that you see and the little barbs, that's the wind direction. So it would correspond the direction with the speeds, and then we get an idea of how fast it's moving and what direction. In this case, over the storm.
That's an interesting tool, then. Yeah,
it really is. No, it's one of the tools that helps us decide, whether these things are going to get strong or not.
Okay,
which is why I'm kind of floored that they keep saying it's going to be a huge Category 3. I mean, I just don't see that happening
because of the amount of
wind
wind shear, the unfavorable wind shear that it's moving into.
It's about to move into 20 knot wind shear, which is about 25 miles per hour, and then it'll go into 25 knot shear, which is close to 30. And by then, the storms are just getting sheared right off the top, and it's not going to maintain any strength.
All right, another graphic here that the people, myself, completely unfamiliar with. It looks like that the fish finders that you see on a boat or something like that, but a different kind of representation of. Now, is this water temperatures?
This is called ocean heat content, which is actually a better indicator of the type of warm fuel that the storm can tap into as it passes across the water. Sea surface temperatures are important, but it's the amount of ocean heat content, because when storms pass over, you get what's called upwelling, and so you get water from deeper areas upwelling to the top and mixing. And when you have a lot of warm water and it's late in the season, that upwelling doesn't change the water temperature that much, so the storms continue to strengthen. In this case, we are in the middle of the winter pattern. The water temperatures are not that warm to begin with. They were down where it formed. Now you see down around 155 east, and that's where the storm came from. Down there you've got some nice oranges and things. If you look at the legend down at the bottom, from left to right, it's from not favorable to more favorable to a storm for formation or maintenance. It's moving out now of an area that's kind of nominal. It's in the middle of the graph.
Moving, but the
and
long
going
and short
into
is
much
it's moving
cooler
into cooler
water.
water. Yeah.
And so again, this is just something that's going to choke off the life source of this storm, and I just don't see it becoming a Category 3. That's my take. We must defer to the officials for theirs.
And then the last thing, and I don't know how current this is. I'm assuming that you sent this to me. This is the latest thing that we've sent, the predicted track of the storm that we've been looking at for the last couple of days.
That's the latest one that was issued about
all
4 this morning. Yeah, that's from the National Hurricane Center and the Weather Service locally. And yeah, it hasn't changed much, but we see that we will be actually under the tropical depression strength winds, not the tropical storm. The tropical storm wind strength winds are the yellow band rolling through there. Now, if there's a change in direction and it gets closer, that of course is going to change. If it gets further away, that's going to change.
And that's why we insist that you prepare, and stay up on what's happening with the news and stay up on what's happening with the weather. We don't stop looking at these storms until they are well west and north of where Guam is in our latitude. And it wasn't that much. I'll make this point again. It didn't need to wobble around that much to go from a storm that could have devastated Guam back in October to a storm that devastated Tinian and Saipan. It just needed to move a little bit. It just notched over in direction, and then it was curtains for Saipan and Tinian. So it won't take that much. Prepare for the worst. Keep an eye on what the numbers are looking like, and we'll let you know everything that we can here at the radio station. I haven't really had a chance at 6:56 this morning to take a look at the table of contents. There are some interesting things that we've got. Obviously, the weather is a big deal. There's a story in the Guam Daily Post about how Adelup had sent out a message that they still love Rory. There might be some people in the community, Ken LG and Joanne Brown and a couple of people on the board that suggest that Rory did them wrong by having apparently more substantial conversations with YTK than he led on to them.
Apparently.
And so there are some people that are saying that's it. Rory's either got to be pushed out or he has to push himself out. And the statement from the governor's office was, hold on, I think I got it here.
To his credit, of course, Rory always said, subject to the approval of the board.
Yep.
So.
Yep. But it's just the way he framed the nature of the conversations. Initially saying, well, just informal talks. But, I mean, they had gotten formal to the point where they'd set a date and they knew who was going to be doing the arbitration. So, as I said, this isn't a couple of guys in a line at the Bank of Guam saying, hey, I know we've been feuding, but is there a possibility we might be able to get together? It's not like, just hanging out at the end of, you get these Finac puts at the end of the church at the Marienda saying, well, I'm feeling pretty bad about the way we had our last meeting, so maybe we ought to get together here. The statement from Janela Carrera, the governor's communications director, is, we trust that the Port General Manager and the hardworking employees at the port and the Port Authority Board of Directors will continue to work together in strengthening our port operations and serving our community. It's important that you throw the hardworking employees at the port in there. That's got to be said, because just wouldn't be right if we didn't acknowledge their participation and refer to them as hardworking. Yes, they are hardworking, and the really good-looking and chaste and pure people on the board of the Port Authority, and of course Roy Respicio, maybe the best-looking Port Authority general manager that we've ever had in the history of the port. They'll all work together in the spirit of Inafat Maulik, and that's how we're all going to be happy through this particular experience. So you got that that's working through, but apparently a lot of love shown for Daphne Shimizu over at the legislature yesterday, and I'm going to take a little bit of credit for that because on the way into her hearing, I'm the guy on the radio talking about how excited I am that Daphne knows the phone number to Levin Camacho over at the Attorney General's office. You've got a pile of collections that she needs to get done, and they have some expertise over at the Department of Revenue and Taxation, but there is more over at the Attorney General's office, and he is, for all intents and purposes, the government's legal arm, so let's take advantage of that. As long as there's no conflict, I don't see why we can't get a couple of attorneys general to work on some of these. So here's the warning. is if you owe money to the government of Guam at the Department of Revenue and Taxation and at Guam Memorial Hospital, see, GMH knows the number to Leben Camacho as well. And I think everybody is going to make him the collection agent for the government of Guam, and maybe that's the way it should be. So I hope that Daphne gets a nod from the legislature. Whoa, look at the time already, 7 o'clock in the morning. We're KUSG Agania. Fox News Live is next.
Free on bond for Jussie Smollett. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The Empire actor just wrapping up his appearance at a Chicago courthouse where a Cook County judge has just told him he's presumed innocent, setting a $100,000 bond in the hoax case against him. Afterward, DA Risa Lanier offered a detailed timeline of what prosecutors say happened, accusing Smollett of having two acquaintances stage an attack against him.
Defendant Smollett also stated he wanted the brothers to catch his attention by calling him an Empire F, Empire N.
Smollett's attorneys say he denies all allegations. 20th Century Fox Television, which makes Empire, says it's considering its options and appreciates the seriousness of the matter. Smollett is charged with felony disorderly conduct, but additional charges have not been ruled out. Also just appearing in court, the president's former advisor Roger Stone apologizing to a judge for a social media post of her picture near crosshairs, insisting it wasn't meant to be threatening. The judge is weighing potential punishment. Stone, who faces charges stemming from the Russia probe, has been under a partial gag order. Some breaking news on the only midterm election that still hasn't been called, a congressional race in North Carolina. Fox's Jared Halpern is live on Capitol Hill.
An abrupt change of heart for a Republican congressional candidate who, after narrowly winning a North Carolina House seat, was never seated in Congress because of evidence of ballot fraud. Mark Harris has now told the state elections board he supports a new election. Harris led Democrat Dan McCready by fewer than 1,000 votes in November, but the state refused to certify the results. During a 4-day hearing with the state election board, Harris's son testified he had warned his father about hiring a political operative accused of ballot harvesting. Lisa.
Jared, thanks. A sell-off on Wall Street, the Dow down 103 points at the bell. This is Fox News.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good. Make the good things last longer. Get 3 more days for free on our 3-day prepaid rate plan. That's 6 days of unlimited local calls, SMS, and 1 gig of 4G LTE data per day for just $7.95. Text HS3 to 3282 from your Docomo Pacific prepaid phone to sign up today. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
A Coast Guard lieutenant and self-proclaimed white supremacist accused of having a hit list and stockpiling an arsenal will stay locked up after appearing in federal court.
A judge has ordered Christopher Hassan detained as U.S. attorneys explore more charges in an alleged terror plot. He's accused of compiling a list of prominent Democrats and journalists targeted for potential harm. Prosecutors say Hassan's extremist views show in an email that said he dreamed of killing almost every last person on the earth. U.S. Attorney Robert Hur says that kind of language shows
a very significant threat to the safety of our community, particularly given the position of trust that Mr. Hassan held with the United States government.
Hassan's attorney denies the terror allegation. Prosecutors have 2 weeks to further prove their case. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Some big companies, including AT&T and Nestle, are either pausing or pulling advertisements from YouTube over concerns about inappropriate comments being made on videos of children. YouTube says it has disabled comments on tens of millions of videos and deleted offending accounts and channels. Investigators in Georgia have a clue about what got a bunch of kids sick on Valentine's Day.
The Georgia Bureau of Investigation says tests show THC, like in marijuana, was found in samples of something that looked like cereal. 28 students at Sandtown Middle School in South Fulton, Georgia, were taken to hospitals with shortness of breath and other symptoms after eating food or candy that day. 46 food samples were taken to a crime lab to be analyzed. That's still being worked on. It's believed the food with the drugs was brought in by a student or students, but nobody's been identified. Chris Foster, Fox News.
Recapping the sell-off on Wall Street, the Dow drops about 104 points. It's blamed in part on some mixed economic news, overshadowing reports of progress in trade talks with China. The Dow finishing right around 25,850. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
At Guam Regional Medical City, it is our mission to become the island's premier choice for specialty care, like cardiology, pulmonology, neurosciences, orthopedics, oncology services, and more. We aim to protect our island from heart attacks, strokes, cancer, and diabetic complications. But should you suffer from such diseases, we're ready with world-class options, both inpatient and outpatient. For more information, visit us at grmc.gu.
Experience the Take Care difference. Take Care members can count on accessing a high-quality, credentialed network of on-island providers, including the convenient one-stop FHP Health Center and urgent care, access to an extensive off-island network of providers, and the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs. You can count on Take Care to deliver comprehensive, accredited insurance coverage and quality health care when and where you need it. Take Care. Our island, your health plan. Learn more at takecareasia.com.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 7 a.m. this Friday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The National Weather Service continues to track Typhoon Wutip on a path that should take it just south and west of the island between midnight Saturday and 3 a.m. Sunday morning at a distance of about 125 to 130 miles at its closest point of approach. As of 4 a.m. this morning, Typhoon Wutip was located at 7.7 north latitude and 148.1 east longitude, about 460 miles south-southeast of Guam. Wutip is moving west-northwest at a speed of 8 miles an hour. It's expected to make a slight turn towards the northeast with an increase in forward speed over the next 24 hours. Maximum sustained winds within Wutip now at 100 miles per hour. It's forecast to intensify through tonight. At a heavy weather briefing yesterday, National Weather Service Warning Coordination meteorologist Chip Guard said he expects Wutip will track to the west of Guam. He said we're going to be on the edge of the winds. The onset of damaging winds of 39 miles an hour or more expected about 3 a.m. Saturday morning. Sustained gusty winds between 35 and 45 miles an hour are expected over the island throughout Saturday, said Guard, and those winds and some rain could last through Sunday afternoon. Guard said he does not expect Wutip will be a serious threat to the island, but he cautioned that Wutip may become a Category 3 storm when it passes with sustained winds of 120 miles an hour, and any change in the track that brings it closer to the island could cause serious damage. In order to allow enough time for everyone to make preparation for the approaching storm, Acting Governor Josh Tenorio has ordered non-emergency GovGuam services to end, all GovGuam offices to close at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Public schools will be open this morning as scheduled, but they will begin closing at 11 a.m. this morning. All public school students will be released by 1 o'clock this afternoon. The University of Guam also holding classes this morning as scheduled. However, classes, events, and all UOG activities after 1 o'clock this afternoon have been canceled, as well as all activities on Saturday at UOG. They have been canceled as well. The Archdiocese of Agana confirms that Catholic schools will hold classes today and operate a normal class schedule until Condition of Readiness 2 is declared. We're still in Condition 3 right now. However, Acting Governor Tenorio said he intends to place Guam under Condition of Readiness 2 no later than 4 o'clock this afternoon. The acting governor said, "We want to give students, parents, and GovGuam employees enough time to go home and make any last-minute preparations, as well as time to prepare some of the schools to open up as emergency shelters for those who may not feel safe in their current dwellings." Ray and Mike will have a closer look at the storm after this newscast. Daphne Shimizu, acting director of the Department of Revenue and Taxation, told senators yesterday that her goal is to increase overall collections for GovGuam's general fund. She said her team is ready to take this head-on during her confirmation hearing before the Legislative Committee on Environment, Revenue and Taxation and Procurement. In the month and a half since her appointment, Shimizu said her team has been laying the foundation to increase tax collections, and they've reached out to the IRS to provide assistance with tax collection training. In the meantime, she said efforts are underway to leverage the department's in-house technical expertise and have senior members conduct the training. Shimizu thanked Attorney General Levin Camacho, who she said has agreed to assist in efforts to bring taxpayers into compliance. She said Rev Tax will be referring a number of cases to the AG in the near future for collection. Shimizu acknowledged a need as well to address customer service issues at Rev Tax, including long lines in the phone system. She said, "We are working to establish a standard of excellence in our customer service." We'll have more news after this.
On March 9th, join Bank of Guam for the EFIT Run and Block Party to benefit Guam Cancer Care and American Cancer Society. Our Sunset 2K and 5K run will start at Chamorro Village with showtime at 4 and go time at 5. And don't forget about our block party starting at 4 o'clock, complete with food trucks, a kids zone, live entertainment, and a beer garden, so don't forget your ID. This is a bring your own water bottle event. The EFIT Run and Block Party, Saturday, March 9th. Bank of Guam, member FDIC.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Mark Benventi of Santa Rita, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voice of our community and sharing thoughts and issues that affect us all. It all boils down to our people, our land. Protei Igumama. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
12 minutes past 7 a.m. here at The Point. The Leon Guerrero administration issuing a brief statement yesterday in support of Rory Respicio, the embattled general manager of the Port Authority of Guam. Respicio first came under fire from some members of his board for launching a mediation effort without prior approval from the Port Authority board, followed by calls for his resignation this week after that mediation effort was revealed to be more extensive than he previously had acknowledged. The administration continues to have confidence in Port Authority General Manager Rory Respicio, states the response issued yesterday by Governor's Communications Director Janela Carrera. We trust that the Port General Manager, the hardworking employees at the Port, and the Port Authority Board of Directors will all continue to work together in strengthening our port operations and serving our community, states the release. Attorney Tom Fisher has filed a writ of mandate in Superior Court seeking an order to force the Guam Police Department to provide him with copies of the department's operating procedures, policies, and the use and holstering of firearms. Fisher is the attorney representing former Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio. He is seeking the documents in order to prepare for Tenorio's trial on misdemeanor charges, which is scheduled to begin on March 11th. Fisher filed the writ after Police Chief Steve Ignacio refused to release the documents, saying it would compromise GPD's investigative techniques and the officer's safety. Tenorio is facing misdemeanor charges of reckless conduct and obstructing government functions in connection with a gun-grabbing incident at a block party in Tumon last July. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with a look at Wutip.
There is plenty of Wutip weather to talk about today. We've got, first of all, we'll start with the alerts here because that's the way the pages were printed. A high surf advisory in effect, high risk of rip currents, tropical storm watch in effect, and flash flood watch in effect through late Sunday night, especially down in the southern parts of Guam interior. Now would not be a good time, I think, to wander around and doing some hiking, especially late tomorrow night and early Sunday morning. We've got damaging winds, scattered showers turning to frequent heavy showers this afternoon through Sunday. Northeast winds 20 20 to 30 miles an hour, becoming easterly 35 to 45 miles an hour. And then as the storm makes its pass between about midnight and 3 o'clock, shifting to the south and southwest through Sunday. Highs around 85 degrees, overnight lows of about 77 degrees. Outlook for grill marks this weekend?
Yeah, not happening.
Not happening?
No. You can go inside. Or you can just do like Donald Trump and spray it on.
Yeah, fake and bake? I don't think so. Sunset tonight at 6:28. Sunrise tomorrow morning should be about 6:41. And Bert Duarte did send me a picture of his view at about 6:20 this morning, and it was gorgeous. I appreciate you sharing that with me. I must have gotten some early gray line in the guy's backyard. 7:15, and so that's what we've got. Let me just see if I can. I've got a lot going on my screen here. So stand by one. Let me refresh the radar. So that viewers can see and you can see what's happening out there. Hold on, let me just wiggle that and then put that down over there and then put this on. There we go. There's the weather radar, and you can see it refreshing right now, so you know you've got the absolute latest imagery.
There we go, and we're just seeing some of the outermost rain bands of Wutip starting to fly on by to our southeast, and that's just going to continue to ramp up for the next 24 to 48 hours. Rainfall will come in waves, as it usually does with these storms, so just prepare for that. Looks like the morning's going to be a good time for everyone to get prepared, and especially down south, as we were talking. That's because of the rainfall potential, not necessarily the winds, but there could be some heavy rain here. I was talking to you yesterday about how we're in the squeeze play between these two systems, the high pressure to the north, this system to the south, and when that happens, we're going to get some convergence and other weird things going on in the atmosphere. Could see some thunderstorms, definitely could see some heavy rain, so just be ready for that, especially down south. And yeah, you're right. Don't do any outdoor stuff this weekend. It's just not good. I'm checking the Ray satellite here.
Hold on, I moved something. Yeah, so I can scare up the satellite. I'm not sure exactly where the Guam pointer is going to go. I haven't.
That's pretty close. That's pretty close. Yeah, and of course the blobage down there is Wutip. It continues to move now. It looks like it's heading to the west northwest. If you look to the the western part over to the left of the storm, you see there's more clouds over there. That's a feature of the wind shear. The wind shear is actually taking the tops of these thunderstorms now near the central dense overcast and blowing them off to the west. And as it continues to move into this hostile shear, I just don't think the storm's going to get much stronger than it is, but the Weather Service says it will. So we'll prepare for the worst. Just keep on pushing through. It'll swing on around us sometime over the weekend. And again, the closest point of approach, it could take a while. It could be at that closest point for several hours as it swings on around the island, basically.
Kind of on a swivel there.
It really will. I mean, Guam actually has nothing to do with the path of the storm, but the path will look like it used Guam as the center of the pinwheel to go on swinging around. So just prepare for that. Prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
It's the way it works. 7:17, we'll take a look at school schedules and things like that. And we'll also what's happening in the markets. Down days on the market, some weak economic data. I'll share that with you. Jerry Roberts got the Extra Point live coming up here in just a few moments. 7:17, that's news and weather together here on The Point.
It's Micronesia Mall's 30th anniversary, and to celebrate, we are giving away a new Kia Soul LX, a Mazda 3i Sport, the popular Honda Civic LX, and 30 Manila Flyaways during our 30th anniversary Drive-Away Flyaway. Win 3 great cars from Triple J Auto Group, 30 Flyaways from Philippine Airlines, plus thousands of prizes from Burger King and Foot Locker when you play Micronesia Mall's 30th anniversary Drive-Away Flyaway.
All right, portions of the program brought to my friends over at King's, where they've got that crazy menu. Even when it's typhoony, they've still got a crazy menu out there. And when it gets to be soggy weather, yes, just like this, where do you want to go? Let's go to King's and get some kind of soup because it's cold and soggy out. And so you go to King's and get some beef tanak, very stewy there. They've got the kare, which is beef shank. God, there's nothing better than beef shank made Guam style, right? Made Philippine style. Achote, they're stewing it up in achote, onions, garlic, peanut sauce with pechay, eggplant, and string beans. But they serve this over a mound of white steamed rice. That's going to warm you up. And this is the kind of food this going to stick to your belly. And the best part is the shanks. If you get the bone, right? You get the bone, you get really, really good at getting the meat out of the little shanky bone thing. That's just something else. And only one place you're going to find it, at King's.
Attention homeowners, if you don't have a solar energy system on your roof from Micronesia Renewable Energy, now is the time to get one. MRE solar energy systems now come with battery storage for zero money down. This means that your home will have power even when the island power isn't available, like during power outages or during and after storms. The inconvenience of not having power for your home is a thing of the past. Don't be left in the dark. Call 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, the smarter choice.
So Jerry Roberts is all ticked off in the studio. I'm going on about the kare kare and the beef shank and all of that. He's like, what, I'm a vegan here. Let me just look at the menu here and see if they've got something for vegans. Spam sandwich.
That's close.
There's breaded fried steak sandwich.
Right there, man.
It's longanisa fries. And some people don't even know what longanisa is, and we'll just convince you it's some kind of vegan food, and you'll like it.
It's Spam sausage or something like that. Some kind of sausage.
Okay, well, how about the shrimp patties?
Yeah.
Shrimp will work. I'm serious now. Shrimp will work for a vegan.
What kind of tree does shrimp grow on?
But it's not a cow. It's not a chicken.
No. We have to educate you.
Okay. Well, we'll work through this here in the. I'm optimistic you'll be able to convince me one way or the other. It's 7:20 in the morning. Portions of the program also brought to you by Guam Regional Medical Center, the first choice for all of your specialty care needs. Micronesia Renewable Energy. Never been a better time to go solar. And of course, the guys at Micronesia Renewable Energy. There's wait a second, or APL. APL is what I'm thinking of. Shipping the future.
Real Talk Radio is back. Welcome to The Point, Guam's FM News Talk Superstation.
All right, got a slide up from Isa Baz over at the Department of Education, and they've got the early release schedule, and I'll read this to you because I think for a lot of parents, grandparents, caregivers, and you know the like, this is vital information. At 11 o'clock, Southern High School, Teedson High School, JFK, and JP Torres Success Academy are going to be releasing their students. At 11:30, there's George Washington High School, Ukadu High School, Simon Sanchez High School going to be releasing theirs at noon. All Head Start and elementary schools will be releasing their students, and by 12, yes, that's exactly what it'll sound like. At 12:30, all middle schools will be releasing their kids. Dodea schools are open for normal operations all day today, and other school notifications to tell you about St. Paul Christian will release their kids at noon. CIFA Learning Academy, same thing, and iLearn Academy Charter School will be releasing their kids at 11:30. If you've got kids at iLearn, well, congratulations for getting them in there. And number two, please make arrangements to grab your kids. The Catholic schools have got their schedule out as well. In most cases, Catholic schools will operate today with a regular dismissal time until Core 2 has been signaled. At that point, the students will be sent home if they're still in class. If bus transportation is not available, mom and dad are advised to ensure transportation home for their child or children's. Mercy Heights Preschool and Kinder will be releasing their students by noon, just like their public school counterparts. And a note here from the Archdiocese: parents and guardians of Catholic school students have the discretion to have their children attend classes or not. If you're going to have a hard time with transportation today and you know it, maybe the smart money is keep the kids in the classroom. Keep the kids with you rather than sending them to sister in the classroom. And sister won't keep a note. She won't put a little red check mark on the absent when your kids are not there today. 7:23. What do we got for you on what happened on the markets? Let me just look here. Oh, it's ugly red today. S&P 500 2774, but not terrible. They only lost about 9 points. Nasdaq at 74.59, off by about 30 points. Dow Jones Industrial Average 25,850, off by 103 points, but you know, by percentage, it's barely a 0.5% worth of a loss for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So I don't know that I'd fret about it. The big deal here is there have been some issues with weak economic data. The Dow Jones Industrial Average off, whereas Walgreens, Boots Alliance lagged. The S&P 500 dipped lower, led lower by the energy and healthcare sectors, and the Nasdaq is off just because the Nasdaq is off. Now there is a business story that I wanted to share with you. Oyal might have heard me talking with Monty Mesa over at the Guam Premier Outlets the other day, and followed up on the story, and because Monty says, you know, we don't anticipate them closing, we're prepared if they do, but Oyal did some digging around there. Payless Shoe Source customers on Guam and Saipan can continue to shop at the store's local outlets, even with a plan to close the company's North American stores as part of their bankruptcy organization. But the Payless retail operations outside of North America, including stores in Latin America and Guam, are separate legal entities and are not included in that Chapter 11 filing. So the stores that we've got out here in the Marianas will continue to be there, and that's good news in a couple of places. Obviously, there's people that work there and taxes that they pay around here. So I'm glad to see that they're not going anywhere. There might be some people going, but wait a second, that means there won't be any going out of business sales on shoes over at the Payless Shoe Source. I'm serious. There are people that will go, but I was already waiting for the for sale sign to go up so I could go in there and snag 25 different shoes, turn my house into the Guam version of Imelda's Malacanang Palace. And then there's the other ones that are going to say, well, on top of that, Ray Gibson won't be able to mix and match his shoe sizes on the way out because they're going to be so busy, and I'm very, very sorry about that. Isa Baza is on the line. Apparently, there's a little bit more school information that needs to be sent out to you. Good morning, Isa.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me on the radio this morning.
Always nice to hear from you. And are you over at the JIC right now, the Joint Information Center? Or are you cruising around the schools?
Yeah, I'm going to be at the schools a little bit in the morning, and then I'll be at the JIC this afternoon.
Okay, all right. Everybody kind of pulling double duty, and that's the way it works over at the JIC these days. Is it's instead of Jen handling everything 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, while we are under inclement weather and storm and typhoon watches, they bring in public affairs officers from all over the place. And as you can tell by the front page of the Pacific Daily News, that doesn't look like a terrible place to hang out during a storm. I'd never been there. Is it as nice as it looks in that picture?
It's nice. It's a little cold, but it's secure and it's a good place to work out of.
You got microwave?
I think there is a microwave.
So you can make popcorn? Is there a kitchen?
Yeah, you can make cup of noodle. You can just heat up your food, so
Perfect.
You can be there all night.
Absolutely perfect. Okay, 7:26 in the morning, Issa. So what's the new information that we need to share with our listeners?
So of course, the early release schedule has been out since last night. There was also a press release released this morning with information about private school closures or early release, and also other schools. So you received that already.
Right.
As far as DOE, I just wanted to announce that the GW Gecko Day will be postponed. That was scheduled for Saturday.
So no Gecko Day tomorrow at GW?
No, it was supposed to be, I think it was at Agana Shopping Center, so that's going to be postponed to a later date.
Okay. But that's not the only one. GCC had their summit tonight where they're going to show off all of the different classes and all of the different skills that people have picked up over the course of the year. That's been pushed off to next week as well. Kevin Kerrigan with a note.
Yeah, Issa, what time will shelters be open? Has that been set yet?
So we haven't finalized the exact time yet, but it should be later this afternoon. And so once the time is finalized, we'll be sending that out to a JIC release.
Is there sufficient concern among the weather guessers and the government that we will need to open shelters?
From what I've seen so far, it seems that the storm is still tracking south of us, but what Homeland Security and our position has always been is to be as prepared as possible. So we just want to make sure that we have all the preparations in place in case the weather takes a turn for the worse.
All right. And is there a firm time on when we're going to be going to condition of readiness 2?
At this time, I haven't heard a set time. So just be staying tuned to Homeland Security and the JIC.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll do that. I thought maybe you had some sacred wisdom that you might be able to pass along here. Do we know when there's going to be the next briefing from Chip Gard and the guys from the National Weather Service over at the Joint Information Center?
I don't have the exact time for the next briefing, but I'm sure it'll be later this morning.
Okay, so I'm counting on you to tell me as soon as you find out, because it's your fault. You called me. You're the last one to answer my question. So as soon as you find out, you got to call me back.
Okay, and I have one more announcement also.
Sure.
So we have our Head Start Fitness Day that was also scheduled for Saturday that will also be postponed.
Oh, no. There's literally a ton of people that were looking forward to that.
I know. I was really looking forward to it too, but
I bought.
I'm sorry.
Maybe I bought new yoga pants for that.
I know.
Well, you know what? It might not be the only thing that's going to be pushed off. I know that there's a 5K on Sunday that the Rotary Club was going to be doing. And the last thing I got, we'll see if we can get tied up with Russell Ocampo, is that they're still doing it. I mean, who knows? By 5, 6 o'clock on Sunday morning, we might be in a good time to go and do some running. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So, Tag, you're in. As soon as you get some new information on some JIC stuff, call me back, all right?
Okay, thank you.
All right, Issa, you rock. I'll talk to you pretty soon. It's at 7:29 in the morning. Headlines round the corner. But before we get to that, Jerry Roberts has been in the studio and posed to me the question, am I an optimist or a pessimist? I like to think that I am an optimist. I'm one of those this too shall pass kind of guys and always looking for the silver lining.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's the me.
Michael?
Are you a pessimist or an optimist?
I'm a realist.
Okay. Kevin?
Well, since I'm a newsman, I must be a pessimist.
Is that?
Intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Roberts, and today's Extra Point brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes.
So are you an optimist or a pessimist? How do you think your coworkers would classify you? We'll dig into the positives and the negatives of how we're viewed by those we work with and some other stuff today on the Extra Point.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
Our perception of life is a matter of perspective. Many of us were taught that pessimists see the glass as half empty, while optimists see it as half full. Our society seems to worship optimists, promoting that a positive mindset with a thick layer of optimism is the ticket to happiness, while a negative view covered in pessimism brings the opposite. So are we really optimistic or pessimistic as a people? Many psychologists classify the population as predominantly optimistic, some claiming the number soars as high as 80% of us that fit that description. I've seen that number more often in the 60% range, with 4 in 10 of us at least somewhat pessimistic. Does any of this matter? Medical research shows that optimism is tied to higher life expectancy, better health, being able to handle things that life throws at us, greater popularity, and more success in our chosen careers. I've seen the results of other studies which support that last part, claiming that optimistic people do make more money and are more likely to be promoted. People say they like to be around others who are optimistic. Yet we spend a lot of time on Facebook, where at times the negativity is at a high level, so there are contradictions. Perhaps the question to toss in at this point is, does that thinking positively add to our health and success, or does being healthier and more successful make us think in a more positive manner? Have you heard of optimism bias? It's a key factor in calculating the true cost of big projects. This is a business point here. We tend to underestimate both time and cost, and that's because we're optimistic that we'll do them faster and spend less. Some governments now add an extra percentage onto these proposals by default to offset positive estimations. This is part of what is termed as defensive pessimism. We use a form of negativity in this case, not believing we can perform a project so quickly and inexpensively to protect ourselves in the long run. It might be interesting to look back over the history of GovGuam's large projects to see how many took longer and came in over budget. All in all, it might be good to adapt an attitude that all pessimism, or rather all optimism, may not be good and all pessimism may not be bad, and to avoid putting labels on people so quickly. When we try to balance things out, it comes down to perspective, and differences aren't necessarily bad. Some people are just more or less cautious than others. Now, do our coworkers and bosses like us more if we're positive? Will we enjoy our time at work more if we more often put a happy face on things? I think the answer to that is yes. But is it more fun to be optimistic or more fun to be pessimistic? I read this summation. A positive approach to life is not just about seeing only the bright side, but accepting the two sides. Both optimism and pessimism have advantages and disadvantages. We need both. That's the Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show, Guahan Insurance Services, and First Hawaiian Bank. I'm Jerry Roberts.
So nice to have a couple of guys around to balance you. I'm an overly optimistic and frothy guy, so it's good to have a realist and a pessimist side by side with me. But you didn't answer the question about you. Or which one are you, Jerry Roberts?
I tend to the optimism. To tend to lean toward optimism.
Well, because otherwise, what's the point? Right? What is the point? I mean, just always be down about the world and always be thinking that there's something crusty that's going to happen right around the corner. Then you'd never leave from the corner that you're at.
You'd stay in a fetal position, never got out of bed.
But that's why being a realist works in, because I can say, wow, this is a mess. What are we going to do to fix it? So I embrace both aspects, really.
Sure.
You
Well,
know, it's okay to call a spade, but what are you going to do to fix it and make it better?
Every once in a while, I got to take off my rose-colored glasses and see the world the same way that you do.
And we talked about the defensive pessimism in terms of looking at numbers and large projects, and governments now factoring in an additional percentage on top of quotations, because their history was they were coming in over budget. Right, and it took longer.
Yep.
And so they began factoring these things into all bids. In other words, you put a bid in, they would hit it with an extra 5 or 10% or whatever it was, and that became your actual bid at that point. Because they learned their lesson. So I think you can compartmentalize optimism and pessimism a little bit and kind of choose your times.
Ponder that and we've got a great example in front of us right now. Are you optimistic or pessimistic about the weather and what it's going to be like come Sunday morning about this time? What's it going to be like in 48 hours? And depending on your worldview, whatever image just popped in your head, that might help answer the question. It's 7:36. And that's Jerry Roberts in today's Extra Point. I've got headlines now from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, a Maurizo resident is the latest person to accuse former Archbishop Anthony Apparon of sexual molestation and abuse. The complaint was filed in Superior Court by a man using the initials CCC to protect his identity. He accused Apparon of sexually abusing him in 1985 at the San Dimas Church in Maleso when he was 16 years old. At the time, Apparon was the auxiliary bishop who was visiting and escorting across to the San Dimas Church. The lawsuit seeks $5 million in damages. Attorney Tom Fisher has filed a writ of mandate in Superior Court seeking an order to force the Guam Police Department to provide him with copies of the department's operating procedures, policies related to the possession, use, and holstering of firearms. Fisher is the attorney representing former Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio. He is seeking the documents in order to prepare for Tenorio's trial on misdemeanor charges, which is scheduled to begin in March. Fisher filed the writ after Police Chief Steve Ignacio refused to release them, saying it would compromise GPD's investigative techniques and threaten the safety of police officers. Tenorio is facing misdemeanor charges of reckless conduct and obstructing government functions in connection with a gun-grabbing incident at a block party in Tumon last July. Singio Singanis and Innocencia Esirom have entered guilty pleas in a major food stamp fraud case. The pair admitting to the unauthorized use of food stamp benefits, and federal prosecutors agreed to dismiss 7 counts of wire fraud against them in exchange for that guilty plea. The pair faces a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Neither Singanes nor Esirom are U.S. citizens, and a conviction in this case exposes them now to deportation. The couple owned and operated the S&I Mart, a small convenience store in Barragata. They admitted to creating fictional food stamp transactions between March 2011 and September 2013 by allowing SNAP recipients to fraudulently get a cash out of their food stamp benefits. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily
Just
Post.
grifters. That's all. Just grifters out there. It's a great way to scam a system that most people think is scammed left and right, and just prove to everybody how easy it is to get done. And I'm and what's their penalty going to be? The worst case scenario for them is they're going to get
20
deported.
years, $250,000, and bye-bye.
And then a deportation, right? 20 away from 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll watch and see how that happens. That is iConnect time. Swing by an iConnect or go visit them online, iConnectGuam.com on the World Wide Web, and learn about 2019. Awesome plans they've got for mobile and internet. But really, especially for times like this, we got inclement weather out there, and you need to be able to get a hold of your people on the streets and, send them, go fuel generator over here, or go make sure that the shipment over at the port is picked up before they close down or whatever, and use the push to talk. It's like a two-way radio and a phone at the same time, and iConnect's the only guys that got it. Don't you hate it when things stay the same? I don't know. Maybe Jerry can riff on something like that. There's a certain familiarity, a certain comfort in familiarity. But every once in a while, you just want to shake things up a little bit, and that's what they did over at Wendy's. They shook up their hamburger menu, and they've added a couple of things there that you're going to fall in love with. One of them is going to be the smoky barbecue sandwich. Got a sweet, kind of tangy barbecue flavor on it. Nice Southwestern deal going on in a burger. They've got the one with the Sawsum sauce, and that's my particular favorite. I like a messy, wet burger, and this Sawsum sauce that they have there is it makes the burger so juicy. Plus, it's got bacon in it, so you're gonna love it anyway. And now they've got this peppercorn mushroom deal, and I like it when Wendy's does a burger with mushrooms. There's something about the way the mushrooms just kind of adapt to all of the different flavors that are going on, and just giving you some extra in it. You really got to try it the next time you are at Wendy's. Try their made-to-crave hamburger menu.
Great news from Exchanged, Guam's #1 online and mobile remittance service to the Philippines. Get a chance to win a trip for 2 to Manila with 3 days and 2 nights accommodations at the Belmont Hotel at Resorts World Manila. Here's how to join. Download the Exchanged app or visit exchange.me. Sign up and send money to the Philippines. You can also visit the Exchanged office inside the iConnect building in Upper Tumon. Promo ends May 2nd, 2019. Call 888-736-63 for more information. Conditions apply. Take advantage of Exchange Dollar to Remit promo. Visit exchange.me for details.
If you like my voice, this is a great radio station to listen to. I just seem to be all over the place these days. What have I got here for traffic? Surprisingly light is what it says here. I've got some places that are building up, and it's funny, as I say that, all of a sudden it starts to slow down in front of Anderson Air Force Base. You might see some traffic slowing down coming into Dededo off Marine Corps Drive over by Waisang Song. All of the intersections are going to present you some challenges, as there seem to be a lot of cars at them. They're moving, but there's just plenty of them. Over by the swimming pool that they opened up yesterday, might have some traffic headed inbound towards Route 16. 8, 10, and 16 is starting to busy up in both directions over by the school, and then you're going to see traffic building up at the from about the post office to Happy Mart, and then in front of the fire station, a lot of traffic trying to get through there to turn onto Route 10. 10 and 15, a little busy. 10 and 4, busy there as well. But once you get past that, it should be straight moving into the downtown Agana area with nothing to slow you down until you get to about the Agana Shopping Center, and most of that is just some static over at the intersections. Might see a little bit of traffic building up in front of Auto Spot there in East Agana as you're trying to make your way onto Route 8 from there. But otherwise, things are looking pretty good. If there's an accident working, let me know about it. You can call at 888-8255 or send me a WhatsApp, 988-5874, with the picture of of the card that's mangled up in the accident. 7:43 in the morning. That's right now traffic on the point.
At Chili's, our burgers stack up with anyone's. Handcrafted to order, smashed to lock in flavor on a toasted brioche bun. Our burgers are all kinds of perfect. Choose from the Chili's Chili, the Mushroom Swiss, the Ultimate Bacon, or you know what? We dare you to take on the Boss Burger. Loaded with smoked brisket, rib meat, jalapeno cheddar sausage, and bacon. We may have really out-burgered ourselves. Our burgers are more than a handful, served with garlic, dill pickles, and fries. So hurry in today and enjoy our juicy, melty, yummy, handcrafted creations. Perfection between two buns. Chili's. More life happens here.
Just taking a look at a press release came out of Speaker Tina Rose Munoz Barnes' office about the transition report, and I really want to talk about that, but I really still haven't read the transition report. I'll just bounce this across to my journalistic colleague Kevin Kerrigan. Kevin, have you managed to make it all the way through the transition report that was released last week?
Yeah, sure.
Right?
60 pages, 64 pages.
You're about 64 pages in of a 200.
I didn't read the whole thing.
I skimmed the first part of it and thought, okay, I'll set this aside and I'll print it out when there's nobody around. Because if I print out a 200-page piece of material in the office, that means nobody else can print for like 20 minutes. So I got to be judicious about when I do something like that and make sure that we've got a couple extra reams of paper floating around. Because obviously there's a lot of important stuff in it. So I will. Be wary of my own conversation about the transition report simply because I haven't read it. It's just from plain ignorance. So I'll wait until somebody that has can riff on it. And then, like I said, there's a conversation that has taken place over at the legislature on that very thing, the 200-page transition report, because it does point out that's the thing is it does point out some of the issues that we have had in the government of Guam over the years, and different. I will say opportunities, not challenges, but different opportunities for us to do better. I recently had the occasion to, re-register the car and get new tags. And I've been raving about this forever, and I don't understand why people don't do it more. Because there's all of these lines over at Rev Tax for people that are getting their registration updated on their cars. You can do that online. So I went to Pacific Tire, and a nice sissy in there got in the car and went through the test. 5 minutes later, she hands me the receipt and says, you can go online now, because she checked and said your insurance is up to date, and now you've done your safety inspection. So I went home and went online and renewed my registration online. I thought that was great, and I was telling everybody. I got Tina Rose on the line right now. Tina, I was telling everybody yesterday because it was 20th was the deadline for real property taxes, and I was dreading it. I was, oh my God, do I have to go to Rev Tax and pay this thing? I got to stand in line at the treasurer's office and all of that. And you know what? I went online and found out that about the same place where I can renew my registration, I can also pay my real property taxes. So I did that online. And I thought, this is great. One less breathing human body at the Department of Revenue and Taxation. So it's one of those things where, if you've got the capability to do something that way, then I would by all means do it that way. And that way you don't have to go to Rev and Tax. Now, the only thing that really kind of bugged me about it, though, can I say this to you? Because you're my friend, you're my sissy. We were classmates ever since. Can I just tell you?
Yes.
Okay, the convenience fee sucked. I hated that part. So yeah, so I had to so in addition, whatever I was paying, it was like an additional $24 of worth of quote convenience fee that I had to pay to cover the credit card.
I was going to share that same sentiment with you because it has been brought to my attention on more than several occasions when we got into office. I had the opportunity to pay my power bill yesterday, and I walked into the Eulalie Shopping Center before closing, and there wasn't any lines. Just one person in front of me, And when I got up to the counter, I had asked the girl, could I pay by debit card or credit card?
Yeah.
And she said, sure. And I said, well, is there a fee? And she said, no, Senator, there's no fee. And I said, wow. I said, okay. So I paid it by credit card. And she said, you have the option to do both. But I do know that some of the other government of Guam agencies have brought that to my attention.
Yeah.
And we said we will definitely look at it. I don't know what the going charges are, but I understand, like, after every 100, there's a certain percent. So, like, a 3% or something to that effect. And there have been some complaints that have come in.
Yeah, well, as I said,
The Revenue Tax has assured me that they were going to try and make it more accommodating for their the residents, and they said give them some time, but they were going to beef up their customer service. They were going to make sure that the concerns got addressed, and this is another factor that we can bring up to them.
Exactly. When we start talking about the technological advances and customer service, I'm sorry, we got these technological advances in customer service that are out there, but there are going to be people for whom, and you and I might be able to eat the difference between what the charge is and the additional convenience fee, but there's a lot of people that are living a little bit closer to the paycheck to paycheck edge, for which there's a big difference. So they may have no choice other than to go and wait in line and lose hours at work or lose hours out of their day in line at the Department of Revenue and Taxation, where we're trying to make the lines shorter or non-existent if possible.
I just want you to know, Ray, that Daphne and Nikki have assured us that they are working on all the hurdles and they are taking this concerns to heart and they're addressing it. So I will share with you that I will get an answer back to you real soon as it relates to the convenience fees. And yes, our people do, believe it or not, more and more are living paycheck to paycheck, and every penny counts to be able to afford their families that better quality of life. So anytime a fee is assessed and it hits their pockets, there is concern. So you know what? We have to be mindful of that.
10 away from the top of the hour, a couple of other things that are in the press release on the transition report as a concern that we all share, and that is the attrition rate inside of the government of Guam. You'll remember a few years ago when they did the early out program, and all of a sudden, virtually all of the institutional knowledge walked out the doors of the government of Guam, and it took a long time for us to be able to replace that expertise, but there is still an issue with people that have been in service in the government of Guam for years and years and years, know where everything is, know where the skeletons are hidden, and know which buttons to push and what valves not to close ever. And a lot of these guys are retiring, and we're not filling the positions at the same kind of rate.
Yes, Ray. And after the transition report yesterday, that was one of the major concerns, maybe one of the top 3 priorities that looking at was looking at the recruitment and retention because of the institutional knowledge. When Stephanie Flores had brought up the numbers of folks that were going to retire and the numbers of employees that was in an agency, I said, oh my God, they're going to lose all the institutional knowledge if they don't recruit fast, because by attrition in the past they failed to fill the position that became vacant because of retirement and wanting to work through attrition. And that is something that we literally need to address. I know that the governor said that she's literally looking at the recommendations by all the transition members, and that she's saying that a lot of them are doable to make the arrangements to address those concerns and make sure that if priorities need to be set in place like that recruitment, because we need to retain some institutional knowledge. Training was one of the priorities that was brought up, and a lot of our colleagues agreed with that. So Yes, that is of a major concern.
Now, what is what, in the past? People have referred to that as an issue and said, well, the way that we're going to deal with this is we're going to make it so that we'll put some golden handcuffs on people. That is, we'll give them some additional revenue in their paychecks. And we go through this Hay study, and every time we have, it's been a disaster in the government. So I don't know that an additional compensation is going to what's the word, alleviate that problem. And it's also possible that there are people listening saying, well, you know what, deal with the attrition, because the people that we're losing are old GovGuam souls, and we need to, as you point out in the press release, government of Guam needs to live in the 21st century. And so maybe some of the people that joined the service back in the 20th century, well, maybe it's time for them and that old guard thinking to go ahead and retire and leave some space for the new guys, new ideas, and new thoughts on public administration and government.
Some of them may agree with that, but there are some of us who believe that having the institutional knowledge is a Jesus is.
Well, just look, I'm not going anywhere. Carl Gutierrez isn't going anywhere. I mean, anytime you need the institutional knowledge, you call one of us.
I want to share with you that I was at a Pazuta orientation a couple of days ago, and I saw several of the employees that were there on contract, and I said, so are you working with the nonprofit full-time or part-time? They said, oh, no, we're coming back. I said, oh, my God, what a blessing to bring a lot of the institutional knowledge and experience from the government of Guam NCC to work with the nonprofit organization who has the institutional knowledge as it relates to social services, social work, and providing for capabilities for our constituents who need it, who are now working with a nonprofit. And I said, great, that smart move to pick up the institutional knowledge and the training that the government of Guam has provided to those employees that are retired. And you know, Ray, I will never take it away from our elders, because I'm going to tell you, having a lot of the institutional knowledge, even in the legislature, has come to me proven to be great strategizing for how we need to continue to lay the blueprint as we move in this century.
Oh, I'm not saying anything about senior citizens. We are one of them, remember, and we've both been around for a long time. And it's possible that some of our thinking might be stale at this point, and at some point, somebody else is going to come up and show me a different way to do talk radio, the same way that you are surrounded by people that are younger than you over in the legislature, because now we're the old ones, and you've got all these new faces, new voices, and new ways of looking at some of the problems. So there's balance in here for sure. There's balance in the conversation about attrition. I just don't want us to go whole hog into saying that we've got to save everybody, and the only way to do that is to give everybody a pay raise so they'll stick around for another couple of years.
Necessarily, I know that pay raises could be an incentive, but there are other ways to making sure that we keep some of that institutional knowledge. There could be contracts. There could be working closely with the nonprofit organizations that do a lot of the mission mandates that provide for the basic services that we as the government have to do. And I think there needs to be a balance. Sometimes working closely with the old guard works very good. I always said on-the-job training works just as great too. So there needs to be that balance, Ray. And I have no problems looking at it. I know the Department of Labor has a program where a lot of the retirees and the senior citizens are given that option to keep the motivation going for them and the brain power that they have to be able to share it, working with that federal contract to put them back into the agencies that they have expertise on and utilizing that to help assist in running the operations today.
There's a couple of bills that you're working on to deal with, what have we got here, criminal sexual conduct and things like that. I have not read those, and so I don't want to dive into those just yet, but I do want to ask a couple of other things, speaker-related, that are going on over at the legislature. I think the guys just had your first big rules meeting of the 35th Guam legislature, which means at some point we'll get the report and find out what the agenda is going to be for that first session. When is session going to be scheduled? When are you making the call?
We're tentatively we tentatively scheduled a session for Monday at 10 o'clock. We had our rules meeting yesterday at 2. We have 3 or 4 bills on the agenda, plus all the appointments. And I want to share with you, Ray, that the Committee on Rules chair was adamant about making sure that we stick to the agenda, and those that have turned in their reports on time will be heard. I do know that there may be one additional bill by Senator Jolson Augustine that may be put on because the report was already submitted. But other than that, we have 3 bills and maybe 8 appointments, 7 or 8 appointments. I don't have the schedule in front of me right now.
I think the only thing that Joe's got ready to go is the new version of his Stand Your Ground. That already had its public hearing, right?
Yes, but I don't think that that's on the agenda. I think what's on the agenda is the Vice Speaker Talina Nelson's bill. I think that's Pepper's voice. James, my bill regarding the affording the opportunity for government of Guam workers and the retirees to be a part of the inclusion for utilizing both hospitals.
Well, I tell you what, I'm almost out of time, so I'll bug Regine to send over the agenda. And listen, you make sure the family stays safe during this storm, no matter what happens, and we'll get caught up next week.
Thank you.
Hey, I'll talk to you pretty soon, Sissy. Speaker Tina Munya-Barnes from the 35th Guam Legislature with a look at a conversation a little bit about the transition report. Note from my friend Bernadette Santos says Guam Community-Based Outpatient Clinic, the CBOC, will be closed today. The Saipan Outpatient Clinic will be open today as a result of what's going on with this storm. Got it, Bernadette? It's 7:59. We'll call it 8 o'clock on KUSG, Agana.
He planned it all. Lisa Brady, Fox News. That's the allegation from Illinois prosecutors against Empire actor Jussie Smollett, accused of plotting a hate crime attack by 2 acquaintances, Abel and Ola Osundaro, telling them what to do and what to say.
Smollett asked Ola if he could trust him. When Ola said he could, Smollett detailed his plans of the attack to the brothers.
The timeline offered by Cook County DA Risa Lanier is based on what the brothers told investigators.
Defendant Smollett also included that he wanted Ola to place a rope around his neck, pour gasoline on him, and yell, "This is MAGA country."
The judge telling Smollett that if true, it's outrageous, but that he is presumed innocent. He's now free on bond. Smollett's attorneys say he denies everything. President Trump's former advisor has just been punished by a federal judge over something posted on social media. Fox's Jared Halpern, live in Washington.
Roger Stone is now forbidden from discussing his criminal case on TV, radio, print, online, and social media. An expanded gag order coming from D.C. District Judge Amy Berman Jackson after Stone posted a message on Instagram showing the judge with what appeared to be a crosshair next to her. In court, Stone apologized for the posting but argued he did not review the photograph and never intended to threaten the judge. Stone has pleaded not guilty to charges of lying to Congress and witness tampering. Last week, the judge issued a limited gag order preventing Stone from discussing the case near the courthouse. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. A new election just ordered in a disputed congressional race in North Carolina, and Republican Mark Harris, who had appeared to be the winner, supports the decision.
Through the testimony I've listened to over the past 3 days, I believe a new election should be called.
His own son telling the state elections board yesterday that he had warned his father about using a political operative suspected of ballot tampering. This is Fox News.
Make the good things last longer. Get 3 more days for free on our 3-day prepaid rate plan. That's 6 days of unlimited local calls, SMS, and 1 gig of 4G LTE data per day for just $7.95. Text HS3 to 3282 from your Docomo Pacific prepaid phone to sign up today. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
Experience the Take Care difference. Take Care members can count on accessing a high-quality, credentialed network of on-island providers, including the convenient one-stop FHP Health Center and urgent care, access to an extensive off-island network of providers, and the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs. You can count on Take Care to deliver comprehensive, accredited insurance coverage and quality health care when and where you need it. Take Care. Our island, your health plan. Learn more at takecareasia.com.
A Coast Guard lieutenant accused of plotting mass murder is ordered held in detention until trial by a federal judge in Maryland as newly unsealed court documents reveal what was found as Christopher Hassan was arrested last week.
The FBI arrested Lieutenant Hassan last Friday in the parking lot of the Coast Guard headquarters in Washington, D.C., where he had worked as an acquisitions officer for the past 3 years. Inside his apartment, the FBI found 15 firearms and more than 1,000 rounds of ammunition, according to court documents. There were 30 vials of human growth hormone and evidence he had purchased 4,200 pills of a morphine-like drug since 2016.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. Investigators say Hassan had a hit list targeting media personalities and top Democratic lawmakers. A public defender says he denies all the allegations. Airfares hitting all-time lows.
You might feel like you're paying more when flying, but ticket prices are actually at their lowest levels after adjusting for inflation since 1995, when the Bureau of Transportation Statistics started keeping records. However, that doesn't count for fees that airlines charge for things like checking a bag, getting a better seat, or moving up in the boarding line. Airlines getting a revenue boost from those fees and from deals with credit card companies, helping them stay profitable.
Fox's Hillary Barsky. Musician Peter Tork has died, best known as the bass guitarist and keyboardist for the Monkees. He had just turned 77 last week. The two surviving members of the band, Mickey Dolenz and Mike Nesmith, each posting statements of tribute and mourning, each saying their hearts are broken. A statement posted on Tork's Facebook page by family and colleagues calls him a friend, mentor, and amazing soul, offering thanks to fans as well. Tork had been diagnosed with a rare form of cancer a decade ago. I'm Lisa Brady, and this is Fox News.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo, 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Guam Regional Medical City. We bring the healthcare advances of the world directly to you. We are an acute care hospital that complements your needs with our robust outpatient specialty clinics. From preventative care to critical care, we strive for consistent excellence at GRMC. Our core philosophy is where patients are partners, which means we work as a team to make a healthier version of you. For more information about GRMC, visit us at grmc.gu.
It's Micronesia Mall's 30th anniversary, and to celebrate, we are giving away a new Kia Soul LX, a Mazda 3i Sport, the popular Honda Civic LX, and 30 Manila Flyaways during our 30th anniversary Drive-Away Flyaway. Win 3 great cars from Triple J Auto Group, 30 Flyaways from Philippine Airlines, plus thousands of prizes from Burger King and Foot Locker when you play Micronesia Mall's 30th anniversary Drive-Away Flyaway.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 8 a.m. this Friday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The National Weather Service continues to track Typhoon Wutip on a path that should take it just south and west of the island between midnight Saturday and 3 a.m. Sunday morning, at a distance of about 125 miles to 130 miles at its closest point of approach. As of 7 a.m. This morning, the center of Typhoon Wutip was located near 7.9 degrees north latitude and 147.7 degrees east longitude. Wutip is moving west-northwest at 10 miles per hour now, picked up a little speed. It's expected to make a slight turn towards the northwest with a slight increase in forward speed over the next 24 hours or so. Maximum sustained winds for Wutip have now increased from 100 to 105 miles per hour now. Wutip is forecast to intensify through Saturday, according to the Weather Service. At a heavy weather briefing yesterday, National Weather Service Warning Coordination meteorologist Chip Gard said he expects Wutip will track to the west of Guam. He said we're going to be on the edge of the winds. The onset of damaging winds of 35 miles an hour or more expected about 3 a.m. Saturday morning. Sustained gusty winds between 35 and 45 miles an hour expected over the island throughout Saturday and into Sunday afternoon. Gard said he does not expect Wutip will be a serious threat to Guam, but he cautioned that Wutip may become a Category 3 storm when it passes, with sustained winds of 120 miles per hour. Any change in the track that brings it closer to Guam, he said, could cause some serious damage. In order to allow enough time for everyone to make preparations for the approaching storm, Acting Governor Josh Tenorio has ordered non-emergency GovGuam services to end as of 1 o'clock this afternoon. Public schools are opening this morning as scheduled, but they will begin to close down at 11 o'clock this morning. All public school students will be released by 1 p.m. this afternoon. The University of Guam also holding classes as scheduled this morning. However, all classes, events, and activities after 1 o'clock this afternoon canceled. All activities at UOG tomorrow on Saturday have also been canceled. Archdiocese of Agana confirms that Catholic schools will hold classes today as scheduled and operate a normal schedule until Condition of Readiness 2 is declared. We're still only in Condition of Readiness 3. However, Acting Governor Tenorio said he intends to place Guam under Condition of Readiness 2 no later than 4 o'clock this afternoon. Tenorio said we want to give students, parents, and GovGuam employees enough time to go home and make any last-minute preparations, as well as time to prepare some of the schools to open as emergency shelters. Ray and Mike will have a closer look at the storm after this newscast. Daphne Shimizu, Acting Director of the Department of Revenue and Taxation, told senators yesterday that her goal is to increase overall collections for the Government of Guam's General Fund. She said her team is ready to take that head on during her confirmation hearing yesterday before the Legislative Committee on Environment, Revenue, and Taxation and Procurement. In the month and a half since her appointment, Shimizu said her team has been laying the foundation to increase tax collections, and they've reached out to the IRS to provide assistance with tax collection training. In the meantime, she said efforts are underway to leverage the department's in-house technical expertise and have senior members conduct that training. Shimizu also thanked Attorney General Levin Camacho, who she said has agreed to assist in efforts to bring taxpayers into compliance. She said Reventax will be referring a number of cases to the AG in the near future. Shimizu acknowledged the need to address customer service issues at Reventax as well. That includes long lines waiting at the Reventax department and fixing the phone system. She said, we are also working to establish a standard of excellence in our customer service. We'll have more news after this.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
At Chili's, our burgers stack up with anyone's. Handcrafted to order, smashed to lock in flavor on a toasted brioche bun. Our burgers are all kinds of perfect. Choose from the Chili's Chili, the Mushroom Swiss, the Ultimate Bacon, or you know what? We dare you to take on the Boss Burger. Loaded with smoked brisket, rib meat, jalapeno cheddar sausage, and bacon. We may have really out-burgered ourselves. Our burgers are more than a handful, served with garlic, dill pickles, and fries. So hurry in today and enjoy our juicy, melty, yummy, handcrafted creations. Perfection between two buns. Chili's, more life happens here.
12 minutes past 8 a.m. here at The Point. The Leon Guerrero administration issued a brief statement yesterday in support of Rory Respicio, the embattled general manager of the Port Authority of Guam. Respicio first came under fire from some members of his board for launching a mediation effort with Y2TK without prior approval from the Port Authority Board, followed by calls for his resignation after that mediation effort was revealed to be more extensive than he previously acknowledged. The administration continues to have confidence in Port Authority General Manager Rory Respicio, states the response issued by the governor's office. We trust that the Port General Manager, the hardworking employees at the port, and the Port Authority Board of Directors will continue to work together in strengthening our port operations and serving our community, states the release. Attorney Tom Fisher has filed a writ of mandate in Superior Court seeking an order to force the Guam Police Department to provide him with copies of the department's operating procedures, policies related to the use and holstering of firearms. Fisher is the attorney representing former Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio. He's seeking the documents in order to prepare for Tenorio's trial, which is scheduled to begin on March 11th. Tenorio is facing misdemeanor charges of reckless conduct and obstructing government functions in connection with a gun-grabbing incident at a block party in Tumon last July. Fisher filed the writ after Police Chief Steve Ignacio refused to release them, saying it would compromise GPD's investigative techniques and threaten the safety of police officers. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with weather.
Man, I'm crowded with weather and weather-related stuff around here.
Just 2 days ago, you were lamenting about how it was the same thing.
It's the same thing every day. Every day is get the same partly cloudy skies, winds out of the east, 10, 20 miles an hour, that kind of thing. Yeah, but now we've got some adventurous stuff that's going on. We got damaging winds that we can expect tomorrow, scattered showers turning to frequent heavy showers in the afternoon through Sunday. Northeast winds 20 to 30, becoming faster, 35 to 45 tomorrow, and slowly shifting to the south and southwest early Sunday morning. Highs around 85 degrees, overnight low 77. Sunset tonight will be at 6:28, and the sunrise tomorrow morning should be about 6:41. So that's the basics on the forecast for today. There's a couple of advisories that you need to be aware of. High surf, high risk of rip currents. There's a tropical storm watch in effect, and flash flood watch in effect from this afternoon through late Sunday night, as they think there might be cause for a little bit of inundation from the oceans out there. But the absolute latest on the fix in terms of the storm, we just got this from the National Weather Service. As of 7 o'clock this morning, the headline is Typhoon Wutip still moving west-northwest toward the Marianas. So there's a tropical storm watch in effect for Guam, Rota, Tinian, and Saipan, and Woliai in Yap State. The storm about 435 miles to the southeast of Guam. Max sustained winds associated with that storm in the center, about 105 miles an hour. Presently moving west-northwest at 10 miles an hour. For those of you wondering what it is in terms of of a circle, it's moving at about 300 degrees at 10 miles per hour. Expected to make a slight turn toward the northwest with a slight increase in forward speed in the next 24 hours. She's expected to pass southwest of the Mariana Islands late Saturday night and early Sunday morning. Again, max sustained winds up to 105 miles an hour. But you need to be pretty close to the center to get those 105-mile-an-hour winds, and they're predicting that Guam is going to be far enough away from it, so we probably won't. Tropical storm force winds extend outward from the center up to about 185 miles, and so we're probably going to be, according to the forecast that I've looked at, a little bit closer. We'll still be inside of it, but we'll be closer to the outer edge of that radii.
Yeah, it should be noted that a heading of 300 degrees, that's almost due northwest. That's just a little bit west of northwest. So it probably is starting to take that turn that they've been forecasting it to do, and that's to be expected. So let's take a look, shall we, at the radar and get some near-term forecasting of what people can expect on the roadways and in their life for the next hour or so. Yeah, not looking bad right now. I've got some pretty clouds out there. Most of the clouds you see up high that's the outflow from the storm, and then some lower-level clouds. It's just that squeeze play going on now between the low to the south and the high pressure to the north. Looks like rain bands approaching from the southeast, but they're skirting on by us, and that'll continue also. And then once the storm gets about another 100 miles closer, we'll start seeing a lot more rain come on through as we get through the afternoon and evening today. Looking at satellite here, there the Guam pointer is, and the big blob of hate down to our southeast. But if you notice the last couple of loops, some of that black goes away out of the center. The black is the highest cloud tops.
Yeah.
That tells me that the storm is actually starting to weaken just a bit. It's west side heavy. You've got most of the clouds over on the west side. That's a sign of the wind shear that's blowing those clouds from the center over to that direction. Generally speaking, tropical systems will tend to be heavy on the northeast or east side. So this one's shaping up a little different because of the wind shear and other factors that it's encountering. Still, it's a very dangerous storm at this time, and the forecasts say that it will continue to be a dangerous storm until it passes.
All right. Now, the prediction that I'm hearing you make right now is that as that black spot, the very, very high cloud tops of this are meeting up with that wind shear that you've been talking about for the last couple of days, and the top of it now has to fight against that shear in order to stay together.
Right, and it just can't fight it. I mean, the shear is going to push it. The clouds go where the wind takes them. And so once they get up to that point and you get that shift in direction, you basically, towards the center, let's say you'll have winds from the southeast near the center of the storm, and then the cloud top gets to 40,000 feet, and suddenly there's this strong east wind. So you got it literally shearing like a shear.
Wait, I got to put you on.
I
have to put you on the screen here so that people can see exactly what you're doing there.
You have to imagine a pair of garden shears. Southeast wind coming in this way, and suddenly at 40,000 feet you get this wind. So you literally get a shearing of the thunderstorm. And that action that I just made is what happens. It just chomps off the top of the thunderstorms, and you have to have that continued condensation, that continued updraft is what they call it, because once the updraft gets cut off, the storm just starts to weaken. It loses its punch.
You're suggesting that there's a possibility that the top of this thing might get blown off and it'll just kind of dissipate?
That's what I've been saying.
We've seen it before.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying for the past couple of days. I mean, with all respect to the National Weather Service, and we will defer to them in all cases. They are the official people, and I am not a meteorologist, but I've been watching these things for, I don't know, 50 years or so, and this is just the sort of thing that can happen, and the storm is entering into a unfavorable area of wind shear, and not only that, to factor in two other things.
Cold water.
The water's cooler, and we've got drier air in our vicinity right now, and all of these things are in my mind, going to prove to choke this thing off. Now, there may be something they know that I don't know, and so that's why we defer to them.
Gotcha. It's 8:19 in the morning. There's still more to come, and we'll spend some time with Blake Watson talking about things that are on this weekend and off this weekend in terms of sports. That's all ahead right here on The Point.
On March 9th, join Bank of Guam for the EFIT Run and Block Party to benefit Guam Cancer Care and American Cancer Society. Our Sunset 2K and 5K run will start at Chamorro Village with showtime at 4 and go time at 5. And don't forget about our block party starting at 4 o'clock, complete with food trucks, a kids zone, live entertainment, and a beer garden, so don't forget your ID. This is a bring your own water bottle event. The EFIT Run and Block Party, Saturday, March 9th. Bank of Guam, member FDIC.
Woo! Woo, it's right. It's like that. 20 after 8 o'clock in the morning, portions of the Ray Gibson Show, the Core 3 version of the Ray Gibson Show, brought to you by my friends over at King's Restaurant. And if you're wondering what it is that you're going to have for breakfast over at King's, they got lots of stuff. It's been a while since I've looked at the King's crazy breakfast menu. They've got the breakfast burger, adobo fried rice, corned beef fried rice, the Fruity Pebbles pancakes, s'mores pancakes. But this for the big boys. This is for the big boys. You got kids that are supposed to be playing football in school and all of that stuff. This is what you feed them: ribeye and eggs, a tender grilled 14-ounce choice ribeye steak, cooked the way your boy likes it, served with 2 eggs any way you want, and hash browns, because we got to have a little bit of starch in that massive protein. So find it for breakfast at King's.
Great news from Exchanged, Guam's #1 online and mobile remittance service to the Philippines. Get a chance to win a trip for 2 to Manila with 3 days and 2 nights accommodations at the Belmont Hotel at Resorts World Manila. Here's how to join. Download the Exchanged app or visit exchange.me. Sign up and send money to the Philippines. You can also visit the Exchanged office inside the iConnect building in Upper Tumon. Promo ends May 2nd, 2019. Call 888-736-34 for more information. Conditions apply. Take advantage of Exchange Dollar to Remit promo. Visit exchange.me for details.
That's a good plan. The Ray Gibson Show anniversary is being brought to you by Take Care and Guam. Who's this? Micronesia Renewable Energy. Never been a better time to go solar. American President Lines, because they're shipping the future. And who else? There's so many people here that I got to say thank you very much to, including Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for your specialty care needs, and Security Title. Security. What more can I say about these guys? Listen, there's a whole lot, and there's going to be more working in the world of real estate. And if you need to know a thing or two about it, you want to get plugged in, buying on the selling side, make some time to go spend with Ron and Kim over at Security Title.
Any speaker, anytime.
Yeah, buddy.
The Ray Gibson Show.
Never heard of him.
Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Or jump aboard Facebook Live like Mingo Reed does, and Bob Camacho, Sheila Sablon. Hello, sweetie. Nice to see you there. Eddie Cruz, Tommy Bernardo, Cody James, our favorite air traffic controllers online. Debbie Canata. I got Teddy from the village. Uncle Ted from the village. Ismail is online and always is. He's working at that place where they make eyeballs, like in that movie Blade Runner. Renee and Pat Taitagui. I got Nate Horn, Brad Dunnigan, Gabby LG, Vivian Sablon, Beck Salazar, Carl Facuda. There's so many more that have chimed in. And if you got something to say about the weather or politics or whatever, you're more than welcome to come in and talk about it. Lisa Barroso is on. Pam Duval, Leach Maniati is there. We were talking about the convenience fee. Tina Rose Munoz Barnes and I, because I just paid my real property taxes and got my license, my car registration renewed online, and I love the convenience of being able to do it. But the convenience fee that they charge for the convenience
is it a lot?
It's more.
As much?
It doesn't matter. It's more than what they would normally charge. And they're saying, well, you're using a credit card, and we've got to pay a fee to the credit card company, and we don't want to pay the fee, so we'll pass it along to you because it's your convenience. And I'm going, you know what? There's got to be some give and take here, because one less body in line at the Department of Revenue and Taxation. There's got to be value for that to them.
You know, I do that now. It's a little bit different because it's not online. It's just a person going. But I like it when you file your taxes and you can just they'll just charge you the extra little bit at $40, $45, and then they'll go and stand in line for you with all the taxes.
Well, yeah, I know that's Aline's company. Lynn, what's her name? She was here just a couple of weeks ago.
Okay. Yeah. But I mean, it's just the convenience charge, I guess. Yeah.
But they need to look at it They need to look at it in terms of their convenience, and the Department of Revenue and Taxes convenience, which is we don't want all of these people here, so let's make it as easy as possible, as online as possible. So really, the only people that we've got to talk to in the building are the hard cases.
Yeah, or the ones, or just the old school people who just really like to do that.
I need a stamp. I'm not happy unless I've got a piece of paper with a stamp. You know, if you're one of those people that is not happy unless you've got a piece of paper on a stamp with it, go to Napa. Go to Napa, right? And they'll love this company. I've been, associated with Napa for I can't tell you how many years. But I went in there to buy. It was a can of Fix-A-Flat.
Okay.
Just a can of Fix-A-Flat, right? And so it would normally be a simple transaction. It's $4 or something like that, $3.75 or a can of Fix-A-Flat. And they printed out an actual receipt, and the lady stamps on one side and then stamps on the other side, tears it in half, and gives me this big thing with a stamp on it for a can of Fix-A-Flat.
Fix-A-Flat, yeah.
It's not like I was buying a battery or an engine or something along those lines, one of those little lift kit dollies or something like that. It's just a can of Fix-A-Flat.
What is, haven't people put, that's what they use for like those underground or those black market plastic surgeries.
The Fix-A-Flat? Mm-hmm. Don't look at me like that.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I've read stories out of course, Florida, where ladies have been had to go to the hospital because they trusted some guy who said he was going to give them hip implants or
and they got injected with the
Fix-A-Flat, amongst many things. Sometimes some Quickcrete. Sometimes they put some Quickcrete in some of those people. But it's Florida. They'll listen. That's true stories. You can.
I'm sorry. I'm just laughing at some of the great memes that are floating around about this guy from Empire.
Oh yeah, Jussie Smollett.
Yeah, yeah. There's one that says everybody makes mistakes. Don't beat yourself up.
That's a good one.
But there's a good question that needs to be asked about this particular story before we get into a lot of sports. Let's talk a little bit about pop culture and stuff. Had this been anybody else, like Roseanne Barr, right? So basically, this guy's he's trying to perpetrate what was supposed to look like a hate crime, and now has been busted by the Chicago police, saying, number one, we're going to hit you on falsifying a report to us, but I mean just the whole on the morality side side. It was just wrong what he was doing. So where are all of the boycotts? When I'm waiting for everybody to say, yeah, especially on his side, on the liberal side, for them to say, no, that should never have happened, and we don't recommend anybody watch Empire.
The only time I've seen that is I've seen Cardi B came out, and she said that Jussie Smollett, if this is true, now this is before it was proven, but since it is true, I guess she has to stand by what she said, but she said if this was true, he has ruined Black History Month. And then Reverend Al Sharpton also walked his statements back, talking about if this is true, then Jussie Smollett should be punished to the full extent, prosecuted to the full extent of the law. But everybody else is just, I mean, if there has been anything, I haven't seen it. But yeah, there's a lot of people kind of just disappeared.
Anything else? If it had come from the other side of the spectrum, then I tell you what, there would have been this gnashing of teeth and riots and protests. But this guy. Now he's getting, well, just you're a bad guy.
Well, I did see that the Chicago Police Department, they had a press conference, it was like a minute and a half, and they did nothing but trash Jussie Smollett, for dragging them through the mud. They go, we have our own problems. Yeah. Chicago has, is not without its flaws, but to do this,
on top of everything else.
Then of course, they used the whole racial thing that it just kind of set, just a big setback was their point.
Mike? Yeah, you remember the kid in middle school who paid another kid lunch money to beat him up so he could impress the girls? That's this guy.
Right? Yeah. This is just wrong. Eddie Cruz online asking any typhoon parties planned for tomorrow night. And before I answer that question, I'm going to give Mike an opportunity to be a killjoy. Go ahead.
I'm going to party. I don't know what's wrong with you guys.
Because every once in a while, that one, right? He will come off like everybody's, serious older brother. Well, there's still the possibility that this could be some kind of a massive strike to Guam. It could bring us 105-mile-an-hour winds and inundation and wet road conditions and all of that. Do you really want to be partying at a time like that?
What I want to know is why do these storms keep wanting to come in on the weekend?
Exactly.
Because that messes up my party.
Yeah.
I can't drink beer if I'm having to tell people what the heck's going on.
I can't tell you how many things are going on tomorrow, and then we're trying to answer the question, and everybody that I'm trying to get a hold of that should have the answer doesn't have the answer. There are like 3 5Ks tomorrow, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I was going to say, so the calendar. Are we doing sports?
Time for sports with Blake.
Because there's 3. So we talked about it earlier in the week, but the one down at EPOW in the morning, St. John's 11th annual 5K, then the one in the evening, the 2nd annual Chamorro 5K at the Chamorro Village, and then the GW Alumni 5K. So I'm going to guess that those two, because they are slated from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. in the evening time, will not go. But I don't have any official word. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, I called Russell, but he doesn't know yet. He said he'd get back to us.
Okay.
People got to make plans. I got to make plans. But Russ, the Rotary 5K is Sunday at 6.
That's not happening. That is just not happening.
Well, I don't know who he's got to
6
talk
a.m.?
to. Yeah, 6 o'clock in the morning.
That's not happening. None of those. If you're talking about evening runs on Saturday. Again, we're talking about really the worst time of the conditions of the storm this weekend.
No,
a Saturday morning 5K, that would be doable.
Yeah. So but I haven't heard from anybody from St. John's or GW. GW's is going to be at Chamorro Village if it's still on tomorrow morning. Show at 5, go at 6. St. John's will be at EPOW Beach Park at 6 o'clock. Showtime at 5:15 for that one. And then there's one tomorrow afternoon at Hulali. This is the 2nd annual charity chicken run that KFC is doing with those guys over there. So and details over at Moicom, but I haven't heard anything from anybody. And again, the thing you talked to Russell Ocampo with the Rotary Club, and they're supposed to be doing theirs Sunday morning, which would probably put it about 2 or 3 hours after the CPA.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not going to happen. He said he would call us back as soon as he knows. He was going to put out a call and see if he could get the information a little bit quicker, so he can let us know.
I'm just saying, if you want to be doing a 5K on Sunday morning, what's the optimal direction for a racer that needs the wind at their back? We want them
it depends on what time.
The south,
it depends on what time of day. Like Saturday, if Saturday evening, then you would want to be running east to west.
Yeah.
However, on Sunday morning, after the system has passed to our southwest and is moving to our west, the winds will be coming out of the southwest, and at that point, then you want to be running to the north or northeast.
Okay, all right. So you got that. I'm waiting on information from the Guam Running Club because they're going to be doing some of the timing and the production on a couple of other races. And as soon as somebody gets to Richard, who has got to get to the organizers of the event and get their blessings, then we'll hear about that and we'll try to bring that to you on the radio. But as far as any typhoon parties planned for tomorrow night, I don't know. There's a couple of other things that are off. There's the Gecko Day, which was scheduled for tomorrow, is off. And there was supposed to be this big fitness gala that I want to say the government was putting together as well.
Oh, and probably off.
Yeah, so it's
off.
not a yoga pants day.
I've also talked to my buddy Joey Guerrero over at the Guahan Varsity Football League, and they are going to call off tomorrow's round of games as well. So just the regular, I believe, week four, the Guahan Varsity Football League will be postponed. That was the Raiders versus Cowboys at 11 a.m. tomorrow, and the 2:30 p.m. game was the Outlaws and the Eagles. So I guess that league will get extended another week, as we'll probably be able to make it up. Because they play 11 a.m. and 2 back-to-back games. So it's 11 a.m., games usually over around 2:30 or whatever. Then the next game will start, 2:33, and then go to 5 or 6. So they'll cancel the whole day.
Plus all the DOE games are off as well.
All the DOE games are off. I saw you show that graphic up earlier, and that, yeah, so everything for tonight that I had was all the rounds of boys varsity basketball, which, we don't really have to get into. It's just all canceled. Yeah. And then tomorrow evening, there's also games slated, and there's also, that's it for IIAG. So I got to imagine that tonight and tomorrow night's games for both IIAG, DOE leagues are postponed.
So it's a chorizo burger last night over at Mosa's.
That's their special?
Yeah, well, that's what I ate. Yeah. And it was a special moment. So I'm sitting on the side, and I was with John Sabaris. John walked in and wanted to have dinner.
He's got a cool haircut.
Yes, he does. He was wearing a hat at the time, so maybe he doesn't think it's that cool. But, so
maybe he was low key. Maybe he's going low key.
We're having dinner, and over by the window, and off of the bar side are these girls that were there when I got there, and were there when I left.
They're pulling a Blake.
Yep. Well, yeah,
probably in my seat too.
Exactly,
probably right in my area. Yeah.
So I'm not trying to eavesdrop, but I'm overhearing some of the things that they're saying, and just a constant with regard to typhoon parties. There was just a constant flow of Jameson shots. About 4 or 5 of them for about 4 or 5 of these ladies that were sitting at the bar. They're a certain age, and they're just having a great time, and I could hear them go, "Woohoo! No work tomorrow."
They must be teachers.
I need another round.
No doubt they were teachers. No doubt they were teachers.
All right, so I say,
who's closed? Who's closed today?
I won't give the last name, but I will say it was so nice to see Andrea and her friends at the having a good time over at the bar last night, and I hope your head doesn't hurt this morning.
They're probably not awake listening to you yet today.
Lynn Vince says St. Anthony was supposed to have a Zumba party tomorrow, 10 to noon. No word on that either. I'm sorry, I don't have any word, hardly at all. We can tell you what's going on with the schools, but there's all kinds of these other events. And this is the thing. I know what's going on. Is if you're an organizer of the event, you're looking at the storm, you're looking at the weather, you're hearing the reports on the radio, but you still haven't heard the one definitive report that says weather is going to be so crappy tomorrow or tomorrow night or Sunday that you absolutely have to postpone or cancel your events.
And
we have not yet gotten to that point.
And maybe Mike Knight, you can maybe elaborate. I know, I'm sure you probably have, but Sunday evening. Like for the the Russian Super League team, because it seems like they kind of outskirt. Because I think their event went on last night, and then I think because it's set for a 4:30 p.m. tip-off Sunday evening in the gym. Right. So they may seems like they may outskirt because I haven't gotten any cancellations or anything.
Yeah, but
on
by
that
Sunday
yet.
afternoon, we're still going to be recovering from whatever does happen with the storm. And again, I've said from the start, wind is going to be really the biggest threat for us with this particular storm, and wind tends to move things around, so that could make it a little difficult to get places, get around, do things. I'm pretty sure nothing will be happening on Sunday afternoon either. Probably we won't start getting back to normal till around Monday afternoon.
Okay, so there you go. But officially no cancellations. But we'll see.
Heard,
I guess again, like you said, if it doesn't really blow anything, if it does end up dissipating, maybe then they can go.
Right, it could. All of it could change. I mean, the thing could go poof.
And as it happens, 8:35 in the morning. Okay, that's all the time that we have to pretend to talk about sports. So I'll see you on Monday. Have a good, safe weekend, and don't get blown away because you're skinny like me.
I try not to.
That's my man. Blake Watson going to go finish the morning show on Star 101. He'll have some information on his side as well if you want to catch today's best tunes and hear what he's going to be talking about. Go in that direction. We've got headlines with Kevin Kerrigan next.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for our all-new Ultimate Cheesy Garlic Bread. How would you like it?
I'll take a skeptical grandma.
Set in her ways?
A smidge.
Grandma, try this Ultimate Meatball Marinara made with Ultimate Cheesy Garlic Bread. Melted mozzarella, Parmesan, garlic butter spread. It's just like yours.
Like mine? My grandmother's recipe?
Try it.
You know, my grandmother's cheesy garlic bread was never all that.
Subway, make it what you want. Limited time only at participating restaurants.
Studio time 8:36. Let me give you a telephone number, 888-8255. That's my number here if you've got some cancellations. If you've been sitting on a couple of events and can't wait anymore and absolutely have to cancel or postpone, let me know at that number. You can also send emails to raygibsonshow@gmail.com or do it the 21st century way. Just buzz me on a WhatsApp, 988-5874. I won't answer a voice call, but happy to take your images as we've done with Issa from the Department of Education. We got video. Be happy to play that for you. 988-5874 is the WhatsApp. Right now from the Guam Daily Post, his last look at headlines, Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, a Mauricio resident is the latest person to accuse former Archbishop Anthony Apparon of sexual molestation and abuse. A complaint was filed in Superior Court by a man using the initials CCC to protect his identity. He accused Apparon of sexually abusing him in 1985 at the San Dimas Church in Maleso when he was just 16 years old. At the time, Apparon was the auxiliary bishop who was visiting and escorting across to that church. The lawsuit seeks $5 million in damages. Singio Singanes and Innocencia Esirom have entered guilty pleas in a major food stamp fraud case. The pair admitted to the unauthorized use of food stamp benefits, and federal prosecutors in return agreed to dismiss 7 other counts of wire fraud against them. The pair faces a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Neither Singanes nor Esirom are U.S. citizens, and a conviction in the case exposes them to deportation. The couple owned and operated the S&I Mart, a small convenience store in Barrigada. They admitted to creating fictional food stamp transactions between March 2011 and September 2013 by allowing SNAP recipients to fraudulently get a cash out on their food stamp benefits. 41-year-old Bruce Pascual Charfarus has been charged with drug possession, terrorizing, and family violence after he crashed his Nissan Xterra into the retaining wall in front of the Barrigada fire station last Saturday night. Charfarus fled the scene after the crash, but the woman in the passenger seat of the vehicle told police when they arrived that the crash occurred when Charfarus began hitting her in the face while trying to make a U-turn in front of the fire station. She said she was trying to end her relationship with Charfarus when the accident occurred. According to the magistrate complaint, the woman had multiple bruises on her arm and face, and she complained of pain in her left ear. Charfarus was eventually found and arrested. He is now facing allegations of possession of a Schedule II controlled substance, 2 counts of terrorizing, family violence, and reckless driving. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Good plan. 20 away from 9 o'clock in the morning. We'll call that iConnect time. Swing by the nearest iConnector or call him 888-8888 and ask him about 2019. Say, hey, I need to get my act together in this year. What do you got for me? Internet, mobile, push to talk. Help me. Talk to me, people. Talk to me. 888-8888.
Attention homeowners, if you don't have a solar energy system on your roof from Micronesia Renewable Energy, now is the time to get one. MRE solar energy systems now come with battery storage for zero money down. This means that your home will have power even when the island power isn't available, like during power outages or during and after storms. The inconvenience of not having power for your home is a thing of the past. Don't be left in the dark. Call 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, the smarter choice.
It's
Is there going to be traffic today? Let me see. There was a little bit of traffic earlier when I was looking at the traffic gizmo. Let me take another look at it now, considering it's almost 9 o'clock in the morning. Second string traffic looking like it usually does, just trying to get through the intersections. Doesn't look like there's anything major that's going to slow you down here on any of the roadways. As far as I can tell, everything seems to be working. Nothing to sag you in Sumai, nothing in front of Navy Hospital. There might be a little bit of traffic trying to get into and out of the area, but as I said, nothing crazy that's going to slow you down. Yeah, that's it. There's nothing to speak of on the traffic report here today, so I'll just shut it down quick. 8:41 right now. Traffic on the point. We got to get the information in here. Lynn Vince dying to know if there's still going to be a Zumba party tomorrow at St. Anthony. It starts at 10 o'clock in the morning, supposed to go until noon. And at this time, if you're prepared, I mean, if you've got everything that you need to have taken care of before it gets to be stormy, I'd go. Really, I totally would. I don't know. What's the weather like outside right now? It's nice, conducive to prep. You know, hanging the shutters on the windows. Do that. Go take care of your shopping and make sure that you've got the non-perishables around. It is actually one of my favorite times of when we start talking about life out here in the tropics is always making that run to the grocery store to make sure that you've got all the victuals that you can get your hands on that don't necessarily require cooking over a stove. And I'm one of those guys. I buy the Vienna sausage in the big box. Right? I don't eat them all right away. I might have a thing of Vienna sausage once a week with my biscuitzu. And just because I like it, it's just a flavor that's in my mouth that my grandmother put there years and years and years ago. But that's so I've already got the non-perishables at the house. I don't have to worry about that. I think I've got enough beer to make it to Monday. So I think I'm going to be okay there, and a few of the other non-alcoholic drinks that I got to have in the fridge. Anyways, I'm going to be okay. I've got it in my head about how I will be able to shower should I lose water, and flush the toilet should I lose water, brush my teeth should I lose water. So I'm going to be okay one way or the other. Prep has been done. So if there's activities before it starts to get stormy tomorrow, then I'd still have them. I guess the question is, when is it going to be stormy? At which point, if you're the organizer of the event, do you say, it's probably not in everybody's best interest that we have this event here because, as people are supposed to be being prepared. It's kind of like Good Friday, right? When we're not supposed to talk until after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You're still getting into the point where you want to make noise. You want to see what's going on. So I don't know. Just make a decision and live with it. It's going to be all right. And the worst thing, you remember Thanksgiving last year, and there was supposed to be the Turkey Trot, the Guam Running Club Turkey Trot, and it's an annual event, and it was Thanksgiving, and I had the morning off, and they said, oh, no, but the weather's going to be suki, so we're not going to have the Turkey Trot today. And you remember what the weather turned out to look like on Thanksgiving Day? That was a good-looking day, wasn't it? Yeah, and they still had the Turkey Trot on Friday, which was the Government of Guam holiday, but who doesn't work for the Government of Guam? That's right. The loudmouth on the radio doesn't work for the Government of Guam. So there. You don't want to do that. You don't want to be there, right? You don't want to be the guy that cancels or postpones an event because you're worried about the weather, and then it'll turn into Saturday, and it will be the best-looking day of 2019. I understand. I get it. Let you live with it. We're going to be on the air here until 10 o'clock this morning, so we'll see what happens. A very close, very dear personal friend of mine that I like to look at, and I think is one of the smarter girls in town. Fox with Brains, that section of the program will be on the air at 9 o'clock. And today we feature Vicky Ganashis Borja, who's lived a couple of lifetimes and continues to live a couple of lifetimes. And we'll learn more about her and those lifetimes in just a little bit. But I did want to applaud, and even though it's not on the list of crap I wanted Lou and Josh to fix when they became governor, apparently we found the part that we needed to turn the Dededo pool back on. Mayor Savares.
Half a day, Ray. Good morning.
Good morning. Is that not the highlight of 2019? Is you finally got the thing open again?
Oh, it's awesome because now there was a line of kids yesterday waiting to use the pool with their families.
Isn't that cool? So
awesome.
how long had it been offline? I mean, I remember the joke that was going around when Governor Calvo thought he was going to show it to the legislature. We're going to shut down the Agana pool and we're going to shut down the Dededo pool. And everybody said, Eddie, Dededo's already closed. It's already closed, Eddie. Shh, don't make a big deal. Okay, but it's been a while that it was off, right?
Yeah, it's not quite a year, but it's been, down for almost a year, and that was because of the one pump there's three sections of the pool, and it was the one pump in the middle, so that we don't overwork, or they don't overwork the two pumps. They just closed everything down until that one pump was fixed. And GovGuam procurement, it takes some time to find the right vendor to do that. And so, kudos to the Parks and Recs DPR team, and of course their leadership as well for making sure that went through, and now everything's up.
But can we send a curse then to Tendon Gibetnu for not being able to get them a single part as quickly as they could? Why did it take a seemingly act of God?
Sometimes it's the vendors. Vendors don't have it readily available, so they have to outsource it from off-island vendors.
Oh, okay. So add 2 weeks?
And I don't know what the procedure is. I don't have a pump in my operations, so it's something that they have to work with other companies.
I got you. Next, I don't know. There's got to be an easier and faster way to get things like that done. I mean, a pump is not necessarily a consumable, but they do go bad. And I'm surprised that we couldn't find something similar on Guam. Couldn't GWA help you out in the meantime?
I'm sure, because in some cases, like when I had the problem with Machechi on a pump, I called the professionals. I was trying to outsource it with private contractors.
Yeah.
And then finally I gave up because, they kept saying, this is, and different things were happening. Finally I said, you know what? Okay, I'm getting GWA to come in and help me. And when they came in, they directed us to the proper companies that had exactly these things. So I think, getting a hold of GWA first is something that we should all do.
First time out. Don't wait for you. Call them, see what they've got to say. Well, it's nice to know that GWA is working with the new director, Richard Ibanez, to sort out problems over at the Agana swimming pool. And who knows, there could be actually a time in the future where both of the swimming pools in the government of Guam are functioning at the same time. Now, question from Boris, who's listening, is do you have spare pumps on hand now?
Oh, the ones for
your swimming pool.
Oh, I'm sure, because that's a DPR operation, and I'm sure now that they know the source, then they have that on hand.
Okay. Okay, so I'm not going to hold my breath, but okay. we'll see what happens, and hope there aren't any power spikes that cause one or the other of the pumps that they've got there to go south. You remember there was a problem. I can't remember the name of the guy that was running Parks and Rec, but he was actually making it so that there was a time where you could rent the place for a birthday party, which rendered it unavailable to everybody else in the village. Have they squared away that issue over the years?
I know I did hear someone yesterday, and I wasn't sure if it was a family or a family member that was there to use the pool or staff, but they said if anybody wanted to rent it for birthday parties, they would have to go to the DPR office in Agana at the Paseo and inquire there. but because they want more community, and it's a community pool, they want to refrain from having birthday parties.
Well, I mean, they just make it so you can have a birthday party, but it's not for your exclusive use.
Outside, the birthday parties are usually outside the fence where they put up their canopy and their tables, and then the kids, they just get tickets to come in and swim.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So as long as it's non-exclusive, I think is the point that I want to make sure, because I remember there were a lot of really, really angry parents that would get their kids all excited about going to the pool on a Saturday, and they'd get there and it was Johnny's birthday party and nobody else could go to the pool.
Yeah, but you know what's great is that big slide. Because, I asked, well, now that that's working, what was the problem? Because in the past we couldn't use that. That was always blocked off. And they said because you actually need a lifeguard at the top of the slide to assure that, the safety of the users. So now there's several more lifeguards, and they're looking at hiring more. To be able to have the slide, and the kids were using it yesterday, which was great because I've never seen it be used before.
It's what did that cost? It's $5 million or something like that. It's an expensive piece of property, and great investments have been made. So we should be able to use virtually all of it.
All the pieces, right?
Yeah. Hey, let me switch gears and get real quick. Jenna Bloss on the other line, so I want to get through. Do you need anything to prep for the storm up in Dededo?
Yes, I just do have an announcement. My staff are out clearing drainages and ponding basins right now, but Dededo Flea Market is canceled for the weekend.
What?
For the safety of the vendors, I've already communicated with HIS, who sells the tickets to the tourists, to come down. So our vendors have been notified. Because of the winds and the rain that's expected Saturday and Sunday.
Just don't wear a skirt. If you're worried about the wind, don't wear a skirt.
The tarps, the canopies. I don't want anybody to get injured. Okay? So the flea market is canceled for this weekend.
Both days.
For the safety of everyone.
Even Saturday.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So we got all right. I appreciate the information, and so we're going to have to go and find Tahoe somewhere else.
Thank you, Ray.
All right, dear. I'll talk to you soon. Mayor Melissa Savares is getting things ready over there, and among the things that she will eventually have to do is see to the needs, along with folks over the Department of Education, on what's going to be happening with people that might need shelters, and with information on that and a few other things. Jenna Bloss from the Joint Information Command Center. Good morning, Jenna.
Hi, good morning, Ray.
So I was trying to get Governor Lulian Guerrero to say nice things about you this morning, but she was concentrating on making sure that everybody knew that she had total 100% confidence in Timmy Uggan and Joshie Tenorio.
Yeah,
and
that's fantastic. I'm glad that you got her on the air.
Yeah, we got her. Yeah, we got her on the air to say that. But I said, but Jenna's doing good too.
You're too kind.
Well, look, you're 24/7, 365, and so it's interesting to watch the other players kind of check in and help you out. But after the storm is done, it'll go back to being you that we hear from the most on these Homeland Security issues. So I just wanted to make sure that she knew that you were there and doing an awesome job.
Ray, you are too kind.
I tried, just trying to make you look better there. So, here's the deal: we've got this storm. It's out there, and at some point we're going to go to Core 1. Have they given you the sacred wisdom on when that might happen?
Are you talking about Core 2 or Core 1?
Oh, sorry, Core 2. Core 2.
Core 2. We do anticipate it happening later on this afternoon. We did release some of that information late last night. So right now we're just waiting for an official word for that announcement. But again, it will be later on this afternoon. So sometime after even the government of Guam is released today at 1. And we did release some of that information earlier this morning.
Yeah, but everything is, I don't know, everything is fluid until I hear from you. So that's the deal here. And I guess one of the things, if we go to condition of readiness number 2, within about 12 hours of the landfall, I'm sorry, 24 hours of the possibility of this kind of inclement weather. 12 hours is the signal for Core 1 if we're following some kind of a schedule. But there are administrative things that need to be taken care of as well. So we've got that. When is there going to be a heavy weather briefing again soon?
So So we do anticipate meeting with National Weather Service this morning, but there's no heavy weather briefing scheduled at this time. But if there's any updates to that, we'll be putting that information out through the Joint Information Center. We just want to remind the community that they can check in with, really good sources of information. They can always check online at ghs.guam.gov.
Yep.
You'll see a complete listing of all of the press releases that are coming out of the Joint Information Center, as well as if you have social media, you can check Guam Homeland Security, Civil Defense, or our partners with National Weather Service, or even Joint Region Marianas. We put out a lot of information this morning. I know there's a lot of releases that are coming out of the Joint Information Center, but this morning we highlighted the most important thing was schools are operational this morning. There are some changes to their dismissal, the early release times. I know that you have been sharing that information, and we did confirm with Department of Public Works this morning that they are accommodating all of these different dismissal times. So they are working directly with the schools, which we really appreciate. That helps us out so much here. We just want to make sure that the community are aware that DPW are busing students based off of the school's early dismissal time.
Right. So everybody try to make it so that everybody is able to get themselves home after being released off a different schedule on the same buses that would normally take them on any other day. And then we move into the weekend, and generally, government operations for the most part should continue as they do on the weekends. But there are probably going to be some other cancellations and postponements of certain events. All non-essential employees of the government are going to be released at, would you say, 1
p.m., that's correct.
Okay, 1 o'clock this afternoon. And if you are still there at 1:30, congratulations, you are essential to the operation.
That title
to the operation. Do you have any idea if or when you'll be opening shelters?
Yes, so based on the current plan, emergency shelters will be open at the announcement of condition of readiness 2. So that list of shelters will be provided in advance. So hopefully sometime this afternoon. They're already chosen. The emergency shelters are already chosen. They would need to be prepared after students are let out of school. And then immediately at the announcement of condition of readiness 2, or the time that condition of readiness 2 is planned for, the shelters will be open at that time. All information regarding shelters will be provided in advance.
I'll be looking forward to getting that from the usual sources at the usual time here. Just a question, we've got the military, and they're in this Cope North exercise. Have you heard from anybody opposite number to you in the Defense Department here on Guam that might have a comment or two about that? Is this changing any of the work that they're doing?
I won't be able to speak on behalf of our military partners, but we are in close contact with Joint Region Marianas, and what we'll do is we'll reach out and see if their public affairs can get on the phone.
Yeah, because I'm kind of curious about that. We got 2,500, almost 3,000 men and women here for Cope North, and not just Americans either. We've got Japanese that were flying in their big airplanes in yesterday. Saw a bunch of those in the sky, and I thought, well, this will be kind of interesting. They're flying basically into tropical storm conditions. It'll be interesting to see how much this adds to that particular exercise. So we'll be in touch, I suppose, in the next little bit. And if you've got anything else that you need to pass along, I've got about another minute and a half before news.
Okay, really quick, Ray, just while I have you on the line, we're looking at the onset of damaging winds of 35 miles per hour or more. 35 to 45 miles per hour as early as Saturday morning at sunrise. So when you hear 35 to 45, it sounds like, okay, that's not so bad. We can weather that storm.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to remind the community that we're going to be getting this type of weather for a very long time. So Saturday morning all the way through Sunday morning, maybe even beyond that. So it's important to keep that in mind. So although it doesn't sound like it's that strong, you're going to be getting it for quite some time.
Yeah.
So as soon as condition of readiness 1 is announced, if it even is announced, it's important to remember you're still going to want to stay indoors and off the roadways.
I understand completely, and we will pass that along to everybody and just let them know that it's time to be safe. I'll talk to you pretty soon, Jen. You have a terrific rest of the day, and I hope it turns into a dry and almost grill mark weekend for the both of us.
Okay, thank you so much, Ray. I appreciate the help.
Always love talking with you. It's 8:59 and change. Fox News Live is coming up next. From the Guam Running Club, the UOG ROTC race that was scheduled has been rescheduled till March 9th. So the UOG ROTC race has been canceled or postponed. Hit Radio 100 and KFC's Sunset Run has been canceled. I don't have a rescheduled date on that, and we're waiting on the St. John's information. And as soon as I get it, I'll pass it on to you. Here's Fox News on KUSG Agana.
No more talking. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. A Trump confidant answering to a judge over a social media post. Fox's Jared Halpern live in Washington.
Roger Stone can no longer discuss his criminal case with reporters or post about it on social media. D.C. District Court Judge Amy Berman Jackson modified the terms of a gag order after Stone posted a picture of the judge on Instagram with what appeared to be crosshairs. Stone apologized in court, calling the post an inexcusable mistake and saying he intended no threat. Berman called the apology hollow. Stone was charged by special counsel Robert Mueller with lying to Congress and witness tampering stemming from conversations with WikiLeaks during the 2016 campaign. Lisa.
Jared, a Coast Guard officer who prosecutors say is a white nationalist and had a hit list, makes a court appearance. Fox's Colonel Scott with this live.
Lisa, Lieutenant Christopher Hassan was ordered detained by a judge as a danger to the community. U.S. Attorney Robert Hur said the evidence they presented so far confirms the potential risks.
The sheer number and force of the weapons that were recovered from Mr. Hassan's residence in this case, coupled with the disturbing nature of his writings, appear to reflect a very significant threat.
As for the alleged hit list, Hassan's defense says there's no proof the prominent Democrats and journalists included were targets. Prosecutors have been given 2 weeks to prove they were intended victims of domestic terror, Lisa.
Grinnell Empire actor Jussie Smollett released from jail after posting a $100,000 bond. He turned himself into authorities in Chicago this morning after he was charged last night with filing a false report. Authorities say Smollett, with the help of two brothers, staged the attack on himself last month, where he claimed he was beaten and had a chemical poured on him and had racial and homophobic slurs yelled at him. Police say he planned the attack because he wasn't happy with his salary and wanted to promote his career. This is Fox News.
At Chili's, our burgers stack up with anyone's. Handcrafted to order, smashed to lock in flavor on a toasted brioche bun. Our burgers are all kinds of perfect. Choose from the Chili's Chili, the Mushroom Swiss, the Ultimate Bacon, or you know what? We dare you to take on the Boss Burger. Loaded with smoked brisket, rib meat, jalapeno cheddar sausage, and bacon. We may have really out-burgered ourselves. Our burgers are more than a handful, served with garlic, dill pickles, and fries. So hurry in today and enjoy our juicy, melty, yummy, handcrafted creations. Perfection between two buns. Chili's. More life happens here.
Great news from Exchanged, Guam's #1 online and mobile remittance service to the Philippines. Get a chance to win a trip for 2 to Manila with 3 days and 2 nights accommodations at the Belmont Hotel at Resorts World Manila. Here's how to join. Download the Exchanged app or visit exchange.me. Sign up and send money to the Philippines. You can also visit the Exchanged office inside the iConnect building in Upper Tumon. Promo ends May 2nd, 2019. Call 888-736-3 for more information. Conditions apply. Take advantage of Exchange Dollar to Remit promo. Visit exchange.me for details.
Honest opinion.
The country's last undecided congressional race gets a do-over. This happened in North Carolina, where Republican candidate Mark Harris admitting his lead was tainted by evidence of ballot tampering.
Neither I nor any of the leadership of my campaign were aware of or condoned the improper activities that have been testified to in this hearing.
Harris led Democrat Dan McCready by 905 votes. The decision could leave the seat open for months. The men's basketball coach for Syracuse University says he's heartbroken after striking and killing a man standing along an interstate last night. Syracuse police say Jim Boeheim hit Jorge Jimenez as he was trying to avoid hitting his disabled vehicle that was in the middle of the highway after Jimenez hit a guardrail. They say there is no sign Boeheim was impaired and no tickets have been issued at this time. It's day one of yet another teachers' strike, this one in Oakland, California, where they're fighting for higher pay and smaller class size.
The district superintendent says they agree. Teachers do deserve more and students deserve more resources, but it's about what they can do within their budget. The Oakland Education Association president Keith Brown says stop.
The money is there. The district has focused on funding outside consultants and also central office administrators.
One student on the picket line Thursday morning said class sizes in high school are huge.
And I can see that my teachers are very overworked and some of them have to take second jobs.
Both the teachers and the district are scheduled to resume bargaining Friday morning. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Hey, with the monkeys. He rose to fame as the lovably clueless bass player for the made-for-TV band The Monkees. Peter Tork has died of a rare form of cancer. He left the group in 1968 after creative differences, but would rejoin every few years for reunion tours. His last was in 2016. He was 77.
Valley Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Valley Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo, 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
I got 5 after 9 o'clock in the morning. It is the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point. And, in a minute, we'll go through a couple of other things. Vicky Ganashis-Bora is in the studio because she's our fine, foxy lady with a brain, and we do that interview segment of the program. And we'll learn a little bit more about this woman in business and a lady that's been in business for a long, long time. But that ain't all that she's about. So we'll spend some time getting to know her a little bit. We'll also take a look at what's happening with the weather in a couple of seconds. But first, I want to let you know the portions of the program are brought to you by King's Restaurant, the authors of the Crazy Menu. What's on that crazy menu? It gets to be soggy, snotty weather, and you're thinking, I need something that's got, I don't know, some soup on it, some something like a stew. Well, how about their beef tinaktak? Ground beef, long beans, onions, spices, and then they slow stew this all day long in coconut cream, and then they serve it on a pile of white rice. This is going to stick to your bones. It will warm you right to the core, and you won't care about a typhoon. You just go, yeah, blow, baby, blow. I'll be enjoying breakfast at King's.
Guam Regional Medical City. We bring the healthcare advances of the world directly to you. We are an acute care hospital that complements your needs with our robust outpatient specialty clinics. From preventative care to critical care, we strive for consistent excellence at GRMC. Our core philosophy is where patients are partners, which means we work as a team to make a healthier version of you. For more information about GRMC, visit us at grmc.gu.
APL, that's American President Lines. They're shipping the future. Micronesia Renewable Energy. There's never been a better time to go solar. And the Core 3. Yes, we're still Core 3 version of the Ray Gibson Show, brought to you by Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for your specialty care needs.
The Ray Gibson Show, bringing you closer to the action. This is The Point, Guam's FM News Talk Superstation.
Right on, 7 after 9, almost 8 after 9 o'clock in the morning, and before we get into a conversation, and already Uncle Tero from Jigo is already saying good morning to you, Vicky, and welcome to the program. Excuse the mess. But before we get into that, I did want to go through a quick summary of where the storm is and what it's going to be doing. I think I've refreshed all the satellite imagery and the radar imagery, so I'll bring Mike into this part of the conversation. The summary from National Weather Service came out just about 8 o'clock this morning is that we are in a tropical storm watch. Guam, Rota, Tinian, and Saipan in a tropical storm watch. The storm at about 7 or so is located at 435 miles to the southeast of Guam, moving west-northwest 300 degrees at about 10 miles an hour. Max sustained winds around the center of that storm, 105 miles an hour. We won't see that wind unless the storm comes right over here. So I'm hoping that the current track lives up to what it's already looking like, and this thing just kind of stays to the south and to the west of the island, kind of turns on that pivot and then goes and bothers somebody else.
Yeah, I think the track is less of guesswork than the intensity will be. I think the intensity is something everyone's kind of shaking their heads about and wondering. I was even talking to some of my buddies in the Pacific Typhoon Season, the Facebook group that we do, and one of the guys in the group is an admin, he's a forecaster at JTWC, and we're talking about, this thing should get decapitated. It's just a matter of timing, but the track looks pretty solid right now. He's saying that he's even kind of surprised to see that it's holding together as well as it has, considering that there has been some wind shear influence.
Oh, these negatives that you were talking about.
Yeah, he said because it's a low latitude storm for one thing, and it's very compact. It's kind of mitigating some of the effects of the wind shear, but eventually the wind shear will win. Looking at satellite there, you can see that big blob down there, but most of the black, which is the highest cloud tops, they went away. But a little tiny bit of black. That's a
little nipple of top there.
That's probably going to be your very center right there. The highest cloud tops. It may be getting ready to regenerate again, as they tend to do. We get a little sunshine, a little more condensation, evaporation, and some uplifting. But to me, I see some influence here of the wind shear already starting to take effect. So it hasn't had any bearing on the strength yet, but probably will in the next 12 to 24 hours. That's what I'm saying. Again, we're going to defer to the experts because they're the ones that get paid.
Well, the experts haven't said anything in a couple of hours, so we got to keep the conversation moving forward. We'll hear from the experts again at about 11 o'clock after they've taken another look at the fix and seen some of the other science that goes into the art of predicting all of this. So that's what it looks like right now. And for those of you that are wondering where Guam is in the mix, that's where we are. So you're going to get to see where we are in relation to the storm if you're watching on Facebook Live, which is about the only way to really appreciate this program is to catch us on Facebook Live or YouTube Live. Or if you don't want me to see your name, just go to thepoint.gu and click on the link that we've got there so that you'll be able to watch the presentation that we deliver here. Now, just because I want to know what the weather's going to be like in the next hour or two, we have refreshed now the radar imagery, and before long we'll start to see some of a little bit more of the body of the storm. We're seeing some of the a little bit of a feeder at the bottom, right?
That's right. Yeah, you're looking at the outer rain bands, feeder bands as they're known also, and the very northwesternmost feeder bands are starting to show up on our radar. They're missing us, and that's good. Yeah. They're still about 100 miles down to our southeast, but as the day wears on, they will get closer and closer. And then finally, by this afternoon and evening, we will be getting what we see down there. And it might even be more than that, especially at nighttime, because then things start to cool off. The atmosphere releases a lot of its energy, and that's usually with tropical weather. That's when you're going to get the most of the rain, is at night.
Yeah, when are we going to get some of those tropical storm strength winds? Jenna from Homeland Security was saying maybe when we wake up tomorrow. Is that?
That's a very real possibility. Huh? Yeah, they're coming in late tonight and then early tomorrow morning, and then they'll just start ramping up through the morning and day tomorrow because, again, we're looking at a closest point of approach sometime very, very early Sunday morning.
Has JTWC come out with a new track? Have they come out with a new one? Yeah, take a look, and if you got something, send it to the WhatsApp, and then message me, and I'll put it on. Because I'm curious to say I haven't seen anything since this morning's track, and it's several hours later now. 9:11 in the morning, 888-825-5888 TALK. Cameras back where they're supposed to be, goofing off with Vicky Ganashis Borja, and welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good morning.
You're so busy. You were supposed to be here last week, and then it was like work got in the way. What was that all about?
Oh, I had a deadline to meet that day. I got a phone call the day before that let's move forward. But until I close everything, then I can disclose further.
For exactly what that was.
Yes.
Is there some? It's a secret?
Yes, it's a secret for now.
Okay, is it a telecom secret? Because you're right in front of iConnect. No, I just want
nice try.
Yeah, that's not why I invited her. It was just see if I can probe her for secrets, for my partners or anything like that. But you've been you and I kind of along some parallel lines here, because it seems to me that you and I have been associated with RF radio frequency technology for about all of our lives. I've been playing around in radio for 40 years. Yeah. And as long as I've known you, you've been a part of Radiocom.
Yes. When my dad started the company since the mid-'80s, I was still in high school. I was actually in between, it was approaching senior year, and my dad would take me along to some of his visits or meetings to government offices. I actually got involved in bid invitations that early, maybe about 17 years old.
Oh, my.
And you said you work with radios.
Yeah.
I used to order crystals. Those were for crystal-controlled radios, I remember.
See, that's how long ago it is now, because everything is phase lock looped. Everything is PLL, right? And all of the different technology that you use. But isn't it crazy? I mean, we'll swim in the bath of nostalgia here for a second and remember really some of the cool technology that was out there. I mean, pager technology. You go back to the 80s and you think about pager technology. I had it was a Motorola MTX 800, and you may have no idea what I'm talking about. It was a simplex radio, and push-to-talk radio, and before cell phones, you could get these things with an actual with a phone in it.
Telephone interconnect. Yeah, I remember
Wasn't that
those.
great? I mean, I tell you what, that saved more live broadcasts from places because if we couldn't set up our own equipment, and if there was an emergency, then we could send somebody out with the MTX 800. They could dial in the number, and all they had to remember was wait for the beep. Right? We'll talk to you. Wait for the beep, and then you can talk back to us. And in a pinch, it helped us to be able to say we were broadcasting live from someplace. Of course, they weighed 20 pounds.
That's right.
But I tricked mine out. I totally tricked mine out. So I had my MTX 800, and I got, because I wanted to, I got one of those little cop lapel microphones, right?
Goodness. Yeah.
So I'd run around, I'd carry the thing in the back, and I'd always run around with my members only jacket, and clipped to the front of my members only jacket was a microphone.
Yeah.
And everybody'd ask me, "Are you a cop?" I said, "No, but I want to be one real bad." So I got the cop radio features, and that was always the cool stuff. Do you miss those days of the big, bulky, kind of discreet electronics?
Of course not.
No.
It's just technology has definitely advanced so quick. I mean, it's just incredible what we can do now versus what was available back then.
Is there a need for that kind of thing anymore? When here we are in an age of WhatsApp, and I just I asked Mike. I said, Mike, you get me a picture of something and send it to the WhatsApp, and then I can take it and put it on the actual screen of the radio station so that people can see where Guam is going to end up in this storm. I'll get around to doing that around break time, but in the day and age of cell phone technology, WhatsApp technology?
There are certain locations and there are certain parts in the world that still require the push-to-talk land mobile radios. Yeah. And then you've got your transportation companies still require that. It's still the best means for to communicate. And then, of course, public safety still require.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of room in this. We haven't quite gone obsolete.
Yes.
Of course, the cost of doing those kinds of businesses, whether you're in telecom or whether you're doing land to mobile radios and things like that, the majority of the business is outside. And here we are, Typhoon Alley, and that's what we're talking about. Right. So I'd venture to say that if you've come up in that business around here, you ought to be able to do that business anywhere, because it's such an intense and difficult climate to operate equipment outdoors.
Right.
Don't you think?
Yes.
Yeah. With everything that we've got to get through. Talking on a microphone in a studio.
It meets certain there are certain requirements. We call them military specs. Right now they're called IP.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
But they are designed and built to withstand harsh conditions.
Right, and hardening. I've actually been in some of your facilities, or facilities that you're associated with around here, and it's just there's one place up in Nimitz Hill. Oh my God, you can eat off the floor. I mean, it's that clean. That's you, right?
That's probably a military facility.
Well, but they're as far as I know, they're your guys. So at any rate, but it was nice being up there, and I was very happy to see how clean it was, and then I went into my facility and thought, you know what, Gib, you got some work to do around there. But you've branched off. Is the I don't know. It's I know you from the telecom side. I know you from the radio side, and now I got this picture of you. Vicky Borja, it says, and working with TDN Realty.
Yes.
And so you're working with Tedo out there and moving some properties.
Right.
You're a real estate agent now.
Yes, as well.
Since when?
I was inducted into GAR in just this month, and I got my license since November last year. And something that I've always been interested in. I had, when we bought our first home, I had a very good interaction with the realtor, which was Louisa Westling.
Yes.
And subsequent interactions with other realtors. It was just so pleasant to work with them. And I like, there was something about their jobs, their careers that appealed to me. I definally enjoy people.
Well, there's nothing like a GAR Christmas party.
I've never been to one.
Just stay close to Liz.
Okay.
Just stay close to Liz, because it'll be crazy fun when you guys get in there. I've been part of those things in the past, and I've been in and out of. I've had different interests in real estate over the course of my lifetimes. So but I always remember there's some parts of it where it feels like work, and then there's other parts like, oh my God, this is so much fun, and it's just crazy when you think about it. So tell me about some
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of work. There's a lot of work.
Well, what are they telling you? I mean, so what's it like being the new girl?
Welcome to the club. Welcome aboard.
Yeah.
And it is definitely a lot of work. It's what you get would depend on how much time, effort, and that you can dedicate.
Have
So
you closed your first one?
I'm working on it.
Anybody? Now, are you buying or selling? You find yourself
buy, sell, lease, rent.
Yeah. So tell me about what is your target sale right now? What one property do you have in front of you that you'd like to get out from under today, that you'd like to sell for somebody?
There's this great property in the Marble Cave area. Actually, there's several properties in the Marble Cave area.
I tried to buy some from Ted years ago.
Okay, well.
we
can talk turkey off the air.
I thought we had a pretty good number at the time, and then we
the
started.
Numbers are great.
Really talking turkey, and then it was no. I'll give you a property at that price, but it's nowhere near the ocean. I'm like, well, wait a second, hold on. I want something that I can see that side of the ocean with. Number one, and number two, I want it to be. I want to live next to people that have got a lot of money, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a container down, a 40-foot container, and I'm going to get a swimming pool from Kmart and go, okay, I'm done. And then just to annoy them so they move. I'll bring the prices of their property down.
I think they have
rules.
Maybe there's some ways around that where we'd have to.
So is it mostly
relocate.
property that you're looking at these days?
Right now, yes.
Okay, just selling property.
Yes.
There's some value to doing something like that as well, and you might want to start getting into the properties, especially up around that part of the island with the buildup and everything that's going to be taking place, and get in while the construction costs are still relatively low, because I got a feeling in a couple of years, cost to develop property is going to be going through the roof.
Well, let's see what will happen with the situation right now with the construction business in the H2B.
Well, it might as well give you an opportunity to make a pitch. If somebody wanted to get a hold of you, I know that you're available on Facebook, because that's how I got you, is Vicky Ganashas Borja on Facebook.
Right.
And if you reach out to her there, be happy to put you in touch and maybe make connections between properties that you might want to buy or sell, and businesses, or not businesses, but built up houses and homes and things like that you want to say. Do you have any of those? Do you have any homes for sale? Because there's people looking to buy. They want to buy at the right price.
There's plenty of homes for sale. Just give me a call, 483-8000. Let me know what you have in mind, and there are plenty of homes for sale.
So tell me about your role in politics in this last election.
Okay, I was the treasurer for Doris Flores Brooks.
Had you ever done that before?
No, it's my first experience actually being involved in any campaign.
Let me touch on this here, and I don't want to mention anybody's ages or anything like that. I will say that we're contemporaries and that we're peers somewhat, but it sounds like you're going through something like a renaissance. There's been a season of firsts in the last year, right?
Yes, but that's nothing new. I think that's just something that I'm used to that through.
Is that like a part of a core philosophy with you, that you always want to try something different?
It seems to not necessarily. It just happens,
right?
And I welcome it. I'm fine with it.
So how did you get suckered? How did you get suckered into that job?
Suckered into the job.
He's not doing anything. Make her treasurer.
In fact, I just got a puppy when I got a phone call from Mr. Brooks.
I've seen that dog. It's not a puppy.
And he's,
I've seen you on the road with that dog in the back of the truck. I mean, the dog occupies the majority of the back of the truck.
He's 10 pounds now, and 10 months. And he's 85 pounds now.
You're not 85 pounds.
No, I don't. Well,
no
comment.
It's a massive. Anyway, it's a massive. So you just gotten a dog.
Yeah, and then I got a phone call, and I was asked to help with the campaign. And my thought was, how am I going to? I'm going to take care of my puppy, and I always knew it was going to be a lot of work, especially when you just have a puppy, but I can't call back and say, I'm sorry, I can't do this because I just got a puppy.
No, people keep insisting that I get a dog, and I'm like, I'm just not home enough for a dog, and they require, especially puppies, a lot of attention.
Yes.
Otherwise, when you do come home, you better come home with a 409 in one hand, and you've got the paper towels in the other, because there's going to be something that needs to get cleaned up. Yeah. So you've got to build in time for the training of the dog, and of course, the puppies need they need to socialize, they need company.
Well, fortunately, Chewbacca.
Love it.
Yeah. What a mistake. mistake because now he's chewing up everything. I think he's definitely lived up to his name.
Oh, no.
I've got to repair some drywall.
What kind of dog is it?
It's a chocolate Labrador.
Oh, where did you get that?
It's from a family in Jigo.
Okay, we'll trade numbers on that a little bit later on if for no I don't know. Do they shed a lot?
Yes, he's starting to now.
Oh.
So I'm considering maybe taking him to the groomers and
take him to game, put him up for adoption?
No, I'd have to put him up for sale.
Oh, right, okay. Get the investment back.
Oh, yes, I actually had to pay quite a bit for a trainer for dog obedience. That's how bad it started to get. And I was actually contemplating, but I just can't. You know, once you're attached, I'm already attached.
Totally know how it is. I totally know how it is.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, and but the training process is fun as well.
It's a lot of work. Not really. It's pretty exhausting, but
I mean, you learn things from that. I mean, I don't. Without putting too fine a point on it, there are things that I've learned from dog training that I've been able to use at work with the employees.
like put a choke collar?
Well, not necessarily the choke collar.
That's what I'm doing now.
Reward systems and things like that.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Just try to make it so the dog's not training you. That's the trick. And you can also, same thing works with kids too, is just by the way. So, just so you know, keep solid notes on that. So you've gotten this puppy. I'm sorry. I've been so interested in the conversation about people and their animals lately. So that's why I'm jumping deep into this, right?
Let's not go there.
Okay, so but you got the dog, and they said, okay, Doris is going to be running, and this surprised everybody. Did you know that was coming? How long before the media did you know that she was going to be stepping away from that job? Because she could have been OPA for life.
About a couple of weeks. Actually, before I was asked to help as treasurer, I did get a phone call from Doris to let me know what her plans were. And we talked a little bit, and so about 2 weeks before it was...
Before it went wide, See, now there's another thing about Vicky that you should know: she can keep a secret. Because it was, I thought, a pretty well kept secret. There was, I mean, there was maybe that just a skosh of a rumor that was floating around, but in the context of all of the other rumors that were floating around at the time about the Attorney General and different things that were taking place in the legislature and all of the different political maneuvering that was going on with the gubernatorial race, it was one of those things. Well, like anything can happen. I'll wait until I know that it's for sure, but you had a little bit of that inside intel.
Yes, a little bit
going into it, but you'd never done anything like that.
No, and I'm actually flattered that they asked. I was excited to agree, and I mean it was a lot more work, but it was a great experience.
Right. So that
and I got to meet a lot of great people too because of the campaign. In fact, we remained close even after the
I'm
campaign.
sure. I'm sure. What was it? Now, what was it? I'm sure there's a learning curve to campaign treasurers, and I have no idea what it is. As much as I've been associated with politics in my life, nobody, thankfully, has ever asked me to do the Ray Gibson treasurer thing, and I don't know where to begin on something like that. I mean, what was it? Was it accounting? Was it strategy?
Well, I've got some accounting background, and I did that a lot for the business. And then there was some process that you can do on. Actually, it's required to do online, which is like filing your forms. And I'm familiar with FCC.gov and some of their process, and so just
wasn't that tricky for you?
No.
What was the hardest part?
It was not. Wow, I can't think of one.
Really?
Yes.
What about all the campaign stops that you had to make and all the different? Because during the course of the campaign, we see each other fairly regularly, Rotary events, galas, socials, and things like that. But I'd seen you more in that campaign period outside of the galas and the socials and things like that. I'd seen you more out at those things than I think I'd ever seen you ever.
Yes, it's been a while, and that's one of the things I was really looking forward to was to finally, to get out there, because I did spend a lot of time in the office for the past couple of years or so. No, there was one project we did which required me to be out in different parts of the island, 15 areas, and that was about 3 years ago, and I made me realize how much I really actually enjoyed a lot of field work. So. Hence
tower sites, places like that.
The tsunami siren sites.
Oh, that's you.
Yes.
How about that?
Yeah.
So there's my recollection that there were a few problems leading up to the construction of those sites because of the requirements for archaeological studies and what have you. So we had to make all of these different compliance things to punch through. But once you got those, it seems to me that those projects went up fairly quick.
Yes, they did. They sure did. They went up in a matter of months.
Yeah.
And it was from as far towards central Nico and up to Maurizo. So the plan was to try to work in groups of 3 or 4 so that you're much closer. But towards the end, we had one site in Maurizo and one site in Nico we were finishing up. So I was driving back
and forth all the
yeah,
time. Was it, now, with regard to those sites, I mean, were there places where you didn't mind the drive because you knew you were going to enjoy getting there? Even if it was work waiting for you, just go.
I enjoy the drive. Actually, it was nice driving to the south. It's been a while since I really did that. It's as frequent as I did, and I did.
There's 9:30 in the morning. We'll take a break and take a look at some satellite imagery and tracking that I wanted to show for the Facebook viewers. Vicky Ganashis Borja is our guest this morning. Attractive woman with a business track record, and that's what I try to do on Fridays here at the radio station. Rain or shine, storm or condition 3 or not, it doesn't make any difference. I still want to try to follow that deal here. Corporate secretary at Radiocom, and so if you're a big deal, if you're a Motorola fan, and I know there's many of you that are. She's the lady to talk to, and if you are interested in buying or selling or renting or managing some real estate, you can also get her at 483-8000. Don't call her right now because I'm still going to be on the radio with her.
Can she get us one of those
Or
new
you can leave a
Razor
voicemail.
phones?
What do you want
One of
from
the
her?
new Razor phones?
The Razor phone?
Yeah, they got the new ones coming out.
Motorola Razor phones. Do you have those?
The new ones.
No. That's cellular telephone. We work with land mobile radios.
Yeah. You just said Motorola, and I was
no.
That's more like consumer electronics. So we work with this industry and government communications.
I need to get one of those too.
Cop radios, etc. 9:31 in the morning, and I'll ask about it just because I'm curious about cop radios and where that technology is taking us in the next couple of years. But I did want to put this out. iConnect, first of all, at 9:31 in the morning, and that's iConnect time. Call iConnect, ask them about incredible push to talk and programs and features that they've got. They got PTT, they got mobile, they've got internet plans that are waiting for you now. 888-8888 is their telephone number.
It's Micronesia Mall's 30th anniversary, and to celebrate, we are giving away a new Kia Soul LX, a Mazda 3i Sport, the popular Honda Civic LX, and 30 Manila Flyaways during our 30th anniversary Drive-Away Flyaway. Win 3 great cars from Triple J Auto Group, 30 Flyaways from Philippine Airlines, plus thousands of prizes from Burger King and Foot Locker when you play Micronesia Mall's 30th anniversary Drive-Away Flyaway.
There is yum hamburgers waiting for you on the Made to Crave, what do they call it? Made to Crave something over at Wendy's. It's Made to Crave menu. I'll look at the script a little bit later on. It's just every time I do, I start salivating. It's laway, I think is what my Filipino friends will refer to that as. But there are things there that will make you laway because they've got one there that's mushrooms, peppercorn, mushrooms, and in the burger. So they pile this thing high with these great mushrooms. They add so much, and there's an aioli that goes in it as well. The other thing is we've got the deal is they've got a barbecue burger on the Made to Crave menu over at Wendy's. So it's got all that sweet barbecue, tangy kind of flavor that goes in there. And then finally, the one that I think is my favorite these days, it's the Sauce'em Bacon Burger that they have there. It's a Sauce'em sauce, and it got all the fixins, and you start chewing on this thing, and you're going to understand why they refer to it as a Sauce'em sauce, because it is absolutely awesome. There's so much bacon in there, it actually falls out of the sandwich. Try it. Made to Crave menu at Wendy's.
On March 9th, join Bank of Guam for the EFIT Run and Block Party to benefit Guam Cancer Care and American Cancer Society. Our Sunset 2K and 5K run will start at Chamorro Village with showtime at 4 and go time at 5. And don't forget about our block party starting at 4 o'clock, complete with food trucks, a kids zone, live entertainment, and a beer garden, so don't forget your ID. This is a bring your own water bottle event. The EFIT Run and Block Party, Saturday, March 9th. Bank of Guam, member FDIC.
Studio time 9:34. Ray Gibson Show. We is still in Core 3. We'll eventually go into Core 2. But even before that, they're probably going to be releasing all of the non-essential employees in the government of Guam. So, as I said, if you're still there at 1:30, congratulations, you are essential to the operations. Otherwise, we'll call you when it's time to come back to work. Now, on the Facebook Live screen is the latest track from Joint Typhoon Warning Center. Give you an idea of where they think the storm is going to be going in the next about 12 hours or so. And then it broadens up a little bit. The cone of certainty begins to go a little bit wider the further out in time we go, and that's why there seems to be a larger window of opportunity for the storm to be moving over in one direction or another. But this is, as you've said, the track is looking pretty certain at this point, right?
Yeah, everyone seems to agree on the track for the most part. There were conflicting forecasts that have been generated during the week. Most of them have been showing this recurve scenario, but some have been showing a west tracker. But it looks like everything now is settling into the subtropical ridge, passing off to the east and allowing the storm to come on up through a break in the ridge there. So that's most likely what's going to happen. This was issued at 7 this morning, shows now closest point of approach to Hagatna at about 131 miles. It's looking like that will happen on the 23rd at 18Z. 18Z would be 4 o'clock in the morning here.
Really?
So, yeah. So looking like it's going to be Sunday morning, about 4 o'clock, that this will be swinging by. But again, if you look at the track, you can see it doesn't get much further away from Guam. There's 3 clicks there. The 23rd at 06Z, then 18Z, then another a day later. So for about 18 to 24 hours, it's going to stay much the same distance away from us. And so that's why we were talking to Jenna earlier.
Orbit, yeah.
Yeah, she was talking about that this actually is going to be kind of a long-lasting situation for us, because as it pinwheels around us to the west there, it's going to stick with us for a little while. Can you bring up that link that I sent you after I sent this?
Probably.
Yeah, because this is what we in the meteorological circles refer to as weather porn.
I'm sorry, what?
Right
weather porn. Okay.
Weather porn.
All right.
Hopefully, now you'll probably have to do a little dragging down to the bottom so we can see. This is from the Himawari 8 satellite, and this is a loop. This is taking pictures every minute.
Oh, really?
And it's just a loop of the storm, and you can see the clouds and the condensation, the uplifting of the clouds. Still no eye. And you can also see the effects of the wind shear a little bit. If you noticed in the last couple of loops there, those storms that are forming on the north and west side are starting to kind of like the tops are blowing off to the west. And so that's part of that wind shear that we're talking about. These are really cool pictures. Even the meteorologists just love watching this. They can sit there for hours.
I'm with you. So is this this is a constantly refreshing loop?
No, this is not. No, this is not. You have to go to the websites and then pick it up. But that's RAM-B NOAA. NOAA actually carries this particular feed, and once you get to that page, then you can pop in, and then it will update from there. But here it won't. This is just a link to this particular loop.
Because you're right, I could watch this the same way as I watch the ocean on the weekend when
I'm when they first started bringing these out after Himawari went up, we had some capability with the previous satellites, but once the Japanese Himawari went up, it just has so much better resolution and detail, and even takes pictures at a quicker pace than the others did.
I'm digging this completely. All right, now in terms of satellites, I was at Pirates Cove earlier, the weather.just Pirates Cove, and they're looking at a different satellite there, and there is a note that they're going to be decommissioning one satellite here soon and going to a new one for coverage. What will the new one be able to bring?
Well, actually the new one has already been online, and they do that. They get them up there, they get them started, they test them out for about 3 or 4 months before they decide to go ahead and make them operational and then phase something out. It won't really bring much else to it. It'll give us a better resolution on some of the pictures we're looking at. It could also be some of the sensors and things on the new satellite will allow them to look deeper into the clouds, maybe get better information in terms of winds, moisture content, and other things. So every time they send one up, it's definitely an upgrade from the one previous.
Can it see my license plate in the car?
Absolutely.
Cool stuff, man. 9:38 in the morning. 888-825-5888-TALK is the phone number here at the radio station. Spending time with Vicky Ganashis Bora as we make our way through the end of today's program and into the rest of it. Now, he was talking about the cell phone technology, and there's very cool stuff that's coming out now. We've got the what's the name of the gizmo there? It's the new Motorola Razr, and for a lot of people, they've got great memories of the cell phone revolution. For a lot of people, that was their phone because it was the sweet, sexy one that came out, and then they came out with that other clamshell that was even smaller than the Razr, and I guess the question has to do with are there things that are happening in other allied fields, other technology fields that you look at and go, man, that's just so cool.
Well, there's a lot of capabilities with land mobile radio. Now you're talking about technology.
With your stuff, yeah.
Right now, it's just very cool the way it is. It's just you're with all the different apps that's available, and basically you can just do your work outside of the conventional office.
But like cop phones, right? And cop phone technology. I mean, because they haven't really changed the way they use the phones, but there's so much digital technology involved now, where the police officer is over here and he sends the message here, but it will jump to a different part of the spectrum, and the guy will be able to hear it here. When he responds, it jumps back to a different. It used to be the simplex operation on the same channel, and now it's changed. There's so many different channels in the bank that it makes it difficult for people to follow the conversations that cops are having. We've got that here, right?
Yes. That's what we call a trunk system. Same concept as
because I got a scanner. I got a scanner, and I want to be able to hear cops all the time. But I every time I try to get into the realm of programming it's difficult because it changes, and the radios actually talk to each other, and will tell the other radio what frequency to listen to for the response. Right.
Right. I remember that.
Yeah.
When you used to have your old Bearcat scanner, and you plug in the frequency. Now it's digital. They're encrypted. It's going to be very, very difficult. You
to
have
find
to be
out what's going on.
Very talented and with a lot of money to invest in being able to monitor.
Do you ever do that at the office?
No.
Just being no, Ray, ever.
Sorry,
I never ever do that. Don't ever ask me that on the air again. I might go to jail if I say yes. But there used to be, and it's one of my favorite times was when the old system would go into a thing called failsoft.
Fail safe.
Fail safe?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes. They would then revert to, they would originally have about 20 channels to work with. So you've got the different talk groups, and you've got different operations going on at the same time. Fail safe is when it will revert to one channel.
Just one, and everybody can hear everything.
Maybe hundreds of radios.
Oh, is it just brilliant time? I'd just sit there and turn the thing on and hear all of the conversations. That was on that old MTX 800. Because back in the old days, in the pager days, which you'll recall. I'm sorry, just a couple of radio people yakking now. Is you could turn the pager off, and the idea was that it wouldn't break squelch unless it got some kind of a code associated with it. But there was a way that you could manipulate the pager so it went on. Without the squelch, which meant that you could hear everything that was taking place, because it was all on just one or two channels, right?
That's the voice pagers.
Oh,
right?
well, we've been in the business for a long time.
Yeah.
That's how people used to get messages. That's how people would find us when we weren't next to a phone. Is the pager, and then you got to find a way to call back, and then it came out with the digital pagers.
Digital, and you've got the alphanumeric and
alphanumeric. That changed my life. That changed my life.
143.
Yeah. I used to do that contest. I'd give people. There was a contest I did on the radio, and what it was is we'd have a phrase, and then I would take that phrase and transpose it into the numeric, just like on the phone keypad, and then put the numbers on the air. And the first person that could call up and identify what the phrase was based on those numbers, get free food from McDonald's or something like that. And the people that won that contest the most were either people in the telecom business or the guys over at Quentos, because the guys over at Quentos actually wrote a piece of code on a computer, so all they had to do was punch in the numbers that I gave them, and it would give them the appropriate what it was probably likely to say based on that. And the guys at Quentos, they're listening right now, and they're going, that was me. That was me, Ray. I wrote that code. 9:43 in the morning. So I've begun to refer to my life as a series of actual lifetimes, if you will. You know, you're here for a while, you're in this state of life, and then it ends, and then you move on to something else, and then that ends, and you kind of graduate to something else. And so I'm wondering, you know, how many different lifetimes have you lived? I mean, you've got the Radiocom lifetime, and now you're branching out into the real estate lifetime. Does it feel that way for you?
No, it feels
Is
like
it just a continuum?
It's just continuum. That's right.
Of the same thing.
The same thing, but a little bit different. Yeah.
Well, and you're a little bit different. You're not the person that people might look at it on the real estate ad and go, okay, well that's typical Vicky Ganashis Borja, because there's other pictures of Vicky Ganashis Borja on Facebook wearing leathers.
That's right.
Wearing
my motorcycle.
You're a motorcycle chick.
Yes, I definitely enjoy that. That's what we call wind therapy.
It's what?
It's wind therapy.
Wind
you know
therapy.
what? Yeah, no, not winded. Wind. Sometimes.
I guess.
It was something that I picked up about 4 years ago. I think I was about 50 years old, and people accused me of going through a midlife crisis. I said, no, that's not fair. I said, it's ever since my 20s. Always wanted to be a motorcycle rider, not just a passenger.
Right.
Just always wanted to do it, and I'm glad I did. It's one of the best decisions I've ever made.
How so?
It's just a way. First of all,
Was it scary getting
the
started?
community. I didn't feel that way at first, and then when I finally got on the road, switched from first gear to second gear, then a little bit, and then I realized just how heavy Harley Davidsons are.
Yes, they're big bikes.
I've never dropped my bike. No, just
Sweet.
kidding. Just
Okay,
kidding. No, we're supposed to say that.
Oh, you've never dropped your bike?
No, I have actually.
Are there scars on Marine Drive because you dropped it there?
No, I had a very Ken Duenas. When I went to Harley Davidson, and I saw Ken, and I said I want to ride. He gave me a bit of a tutorial, or just before getting on the jump start, he we had a little talk, and he said, Vicky, no matter what, if you're in a bind, let that bike go, because you can replace those parts, but if you hurt yourself or something else,
so just hop off if you get into trouble.
Hop off, yes, and that's. Fortunately, I wasn't going very fast. It was just I was switching from first to second gear. Got excited. I stopped the bike and I applied the brakes. And I had, make a long story short, the bike fell or dropped to its side, but I just let go, so I was still standing. And that's
so you survived that, and
that's when I realized it was heavy.
Yeah, trying to pick it up afterwards, right?
Yeah,
this is why you ride with guys, so they can help you.
No, there's a technique
to raising a Harley from the side of the road.
Yeah, no, it wasn't it. Yeah, I guess it was.
Why did you start with a smaller bike? What is this?
It's actually a pretty small bike.
75 cc or something like that, just to get used to it.
Okay, that small bike.
Yeah, like moped size.
It wasn't available. It wasn't in the carport.
All right, so Mikey wants to know how big your bike is.
It's an 883.
An 883.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that means.
It's 883 cc's.
CCs, yeah.
Okay.
It used to be the entry model, but now I think they've got a 750.
Did you customize it?
A little bit, but change the muffler. It's a lot louder now, which I think was
fix that.
It's a great idea. I mean, that was a good idea to do that, especially if you're a beginner.
So you made yours louder on purpose.
Yes.
I mean, it's a Harley. They're loud already. They've got a very throaty and distinctive sound, but you weren't satisfied with that.
No. I really had to be the obnoxious one on the road, just for a while. Just eventually, I think as you ride more, you realize that noise, too much, being too loud, kind of causes some kind of a noise fatigue. Right?
So you got headphones.
Yeah.
You can listen to stuff in there.
You were not supposed to. That's not safe. But yeah, that's.
You're riding around without a helmet. There's people there that safety is a secondary concern. Much as it is, just people just like to ride.
No, if I safety first. I mean, I'll wear a helmet. I will wear protection, and I'll definitely wear boots, not Zoris.
Yeah, because otherwise you leave toes on the pavement
Exactly.
when you're not careful about this. So was that the only customizing that you did? Because I mean that's a big deal among Harley guys. Is there's some that really really proud because it's 100% stock, and then there's the other ones that say what, this is barely stock. There's all kinds of things that we've added to this. Chrome this, chrome that, Harley the other, and so they've turned it into uniquely their own instantly identifiable bike.
No, I put some extra chrome as well. Change my seat. It's got the flames pattern.
Get the big sissy bars up here?
No. I'm not quite sure how to ride a motorcycle with the bars that high.
How do you do that?
It looks a little bit awkward to me. Others enjoy it. They like the look, but I've never even tried.
So do you pack guys on the back of your bike?
Solo seat.
Oh,
Sorry.
really? So no?
No. Solo.
This is not even a question. The answer is no. Don't even ask.
This is my time. Yes.
And so, but there's a community of bike riders, and,
Right.
and so again I've been in and out of it. I'm not a bike rider, but I support everything that the Hogs do, and the girls, and in their own way that you guys are up to, all the charity races and things like that you guys get involved in. So I've always supported that. But then there's the idea that should I get a bike? And I remember there'd be people I'd mention that to, and they just start laughing. Ray Gibson on a motorcycle, get out of here.
Guam has except for this weekend, perhaps, our weather's perfect for
riding all the time.
Yes.
So when we were talking about working on projects down south, how much did you enjoy? How much do you enjoy getting together with your group and saying, okay, where's the ride this week?
All the time. I definitely enjoy going around the island with the Harley Owners Group and the Ladies of Harley, the great group of people to ride with. And I used to ride with Mangachong.
Yeah.
Very nice folks. Terry and Tony Gumatao. They when I first started riding, I actually rode with them, and they knew that I was a beginner, and they made sure they were conscious about the speed and safety.
Yeah.
So
help build up your confidence.
Yes.
And then working with them, you build up confidence so that you can hang out with the other guys and the other different groups that you get involved with. And there's a lot of charity that goes on with these groups. Do you get involved in that, or is it purely riding and goofing off with pals on the weekend?
Charity work in terms of there's the candy run.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly. There's.
Do you drink beer out of the bottle, or do you pour it into a glass? Because you're riding a bike. I just presume that you're a beer drinker.
I drink water.
Yeah,
especially when
Harley people don't strike me as the red wine type. Just hanging out over at Wild Bill's, drinking wine out of a goblet.
Not before riding a motorcycle. That's just a big no-no for me.
Gotcha. So, just advice for young ladies getting started in business. And you got your start working with your father as a family business and things like that. But you've got opportunities now in front of you to venture out. So, as a woman in business, what do you want to tell other young women that might be striking out, listening as they're getting ready to go to their, business school at the University of Guam?
Okay. Well, just get out there and whatever your passion is, get involved. And I have to say, getting involved with community service programs like Rotary Club of Guam, Seroptimist International of Marianas. These are also men and women who are in business and profession. Networking with them is a big plus, and never give up.
Never give
up.
Love the way she puts that. Hey, it's selfie time, 9:52 in the morning, and I'm going to take a break. While we do that, I'm going to grab some selfies, post this up on the internet. It's video on demand, so that when she's done, if you miss something about the dog, Chewy, or riding motorcycles, or being in the real estate game, or being in the radio game for a long, long time, you'll be able to hear all of that and share the link with all of Vicky's friends. Thanks so much for coming, and it's 9:53. I'll be right back after selfies.
Make the good things last longer. Get 3 more days for free on our 3-day prepaid rate plan. That's 6 days of unlimited local calls, SMS, and 1 gig of 4G LTE data per day for just $7.95. Text HS3 to 3282 from your Docomo Pacific prepaid phone to sign up today. Docomo Pacific. Better together. Some conditions apply.
Experience the Take Care difference. Take Care members can count on accessing a high-quality, credentialed network of on-island providers, including the convenient one-stop FHP Health Center and urgent care, access to an extensive off-island network of providers, and the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs. You can count on Take Care to deliver comprehensive, accredited insurance coverage and quality health care when and where you need it. Take Care. Our island, your health plan. Learn more at takecareasia.com.
That's funny. What have I got here at the Evelyn Z campus in time, and there we go. Yes, I took pictures with the phone. I'll put them up on online. Apes Flores, also from GTA, says, "Morning, Ray. Just wanted to bring up the folks can pre-order the Samsung S10e, the S10, and the S10 Plus at GTA through the website. Happy to help you out with that information as well. I'm a Samsung S8 guy before I got my hands on the Pixel, and so if you want to be in Android heaven, I think that is about the place to go. 888-8255, 888-TALK. Just a reminder, the Department of Education has got early release times for a number of their schools. At 11 o'clock this morning, about an hour from now, Southern High School, Teadsden High, JFK, and JP Torres Success Academy will be releasing their students. More information that you need to know at 11:30. It'll be GW, Ukadu High School, and Simon Sanchez High School releasing their students at 11:30. And a reminder, there is no Gecko Day tomorrow at Agana Shopping Center. Mike?
Got the latest from the National Weather Service here. I'll go after you're done there.
Right on. And at noon, all GDOE elementary schools and Head Starts will be releasing their students. There's one more, and I'll call that message up here in a second. In the meantime, what do you got?
9:19 this morning. The new information, Guam will most likely be upgraded to tropical storm warning at 11 this morning. The local statement providing recommended actions: typhoon warning in effect for Sarawal and Yap State and Puluwat and Chuk State. Still got a tropical storm watch for us, Guam, Rota, Tinian, and Saipan. Also, flash flood watch in effect for Guam and Rota. So watch out for the heavy rain, could cause some flooding. At 7 a.m., we had those coordinates already, so no new information in terms of the location or anything, but just to know that they did say that we will likely be under a tropical storm warning starting at 11 this morning.
All right, and that is a function of time as they look over where the storm is and where we may be able to anticipate. And it's kind of, as we've talked about numerous times this morning, it's going to be kind of difficult to ping when exactly that CPA is going to be, because it's going to be, the storm will be at that pivot moment then, as it makes a little bit more of a radical turn towards the northwest.
That's right, yeah.
So
that's precisely what's going to happen. And we're going to be kind of at that pivot center. So it's going to be swinging on around, and it'll wind up being about 130 miles from us for several hours. And, we've been saying from the very start, you and I have been talking about this, and I've been telling everyone all along that the winds will be the biggest thing with this storm because of the pressure gradient and other things, and that is really the thing we need to look out for. So get that stuff that can blow around and put it away. Secure as much as you possibly can. So I'm not going to make any changes to the slow speed crawl right now. I might have some new information by the time it gets to be time for Daryl Taggarty to be on the radio, and I have no idea what he's going to be wearing today. I thought it was kind of something yesterday where he walked in like he was a member of the Village People.
Village People, I was about to do Macho Man. And he remarked, he says, "Oh, Ray Gibson's there." Well, yeah, because I want to make sure you weren't crazy.
It's funny, because I happen to have on my biker outfit at just that moment.
Right,
we could have.
I was doing the cowboy things with the chaps.
Wow.
There were a couple of other early release schedules that I needed to let you know about. 12:30 at 12, all Head Start and elementary schools will be releasing their kids. 12:30, all middle schools are going to be releasing theirs, and that will take care of just about everything. After that, it'll give time for the guys at DOE to start, especially the ones that are involved in some kind of sheltering, give them some time to get things cleaned up. And then they've got the Aspire and after-school programs are canceled for today. Sports programs scheduled for tomorrow are also canceled. So that's the word. We did finally get some information about the 5Ks that are going to be going on, and I've got to tell you, I'm a little bit disappointed because there's a couple of these that I wanted to run in tomorrow. So I'll let you know what I've got here from Manny. The UOG ROTC race that was scheduled for tomorrow has been rescheduled for March the 9th, all right? The charity chicken run do I have on that one, will be rescheduled till March the 2nd. So that takes care of one of the morning races and tomorrow's afternoon race. There is the St. John's race, and I don't have any information on that. That one is scheduled to go off at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning at EPOW Beach. And is my preferred run because that's the one that if it's done right, there should be less wind on that route as opposed to running on Marine Corps Drive.
Yeah,
but given the fact that we're talking about tropical storm strength winds being able to move in tomorrow, it might be that there's going to be impossible to avoid any wind. And we were waiting on the Rotary Club race, which is supposed to light off at 6 o'clock on Sunday morning. Mere hours after what that closest point of approach is going to be, and my producer is shaking his head saying, yeah, that's probably not going to happen. Hey, listen, there's a lot going on, and as I've told you a billion times, is anything can happen with these storms, and that's why we watch them until they are well away from our area. So do me a favor, don't take your eye off this storm. Keep your ears on this radio station and any other radio station that you feel comfortable listening to make sure that you are completely informed about what's going to be going on. When it gets inclement, if it gets rough, one of a couple of things is going to happen. Mike will be here, and if it gets really, really rough, I will be here with Mike through the weekend to take you through storm coverage. In the meantime, do what you can to prep while the weather is still pretty good. The radio station is KUSG Hagutnya. For Michael Knight and Kevin Kerrigan and Blake Watson, thanks for listening. I'll catch you when I catch you.
Ordered. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. North Carolina's Elections Board voting 5-0 to redo the undecided congressional race, where Republican Mark Harris had been leading Democrat Dan McCready by only 905 votes. He had admitted his lead was tainted by absentee ballot fraud, but says he had nothing to do with it.
Through the testimony I've listened to over the past 3 days, I believe a new election should be called.
New primaries will be held in addition to a new general election with dates yet to be set by the Elections Board.